Yeah, I'm in my sweater. I like to wear my sweater when I do streams from my bed. When I start reading, I'll go to my bed. But I like to wear my sweater because mostly it's because if I wear my normal shirt when I'm in the bed, it looks like I'm not wearing anything. And I don't want to get in trouble. So I put on my sweater. But thank you. Thank you. I saw your comment where you said you wanted my figures for my picture. And yeah, I wanted those figures for a long time. So I was really happy when I got them. I want a few more No Game No Life figures, but I have to wait. I'm trying to save money, so no more impulse buy. Is it the collab? No, I'm not collabing with him. I told him about the comments on the tweet though. And he was like, see, you don't want to disappoint people. And I'm like, no, they don't know what they want. Y'all do not know what you want. I'm protecting you. Okay? I'm just a half-human, but he's a whole vampire, so it's different. Okay, he's a whole different class. You saw the commission? Yeah! I posted it a while ago, but it's been some time, so it was nice to see it posted again. Really cute. I have 2 other commissions I'm waiting on that I'm really excited for. They're both from artists that I really admire. But I won't spoil the surprise. I'm trying hard not to. I will not spoil the surprise. Oh, where did I get the figures? I get my figures from different places. I usually buy them secondhand. I think I got the Shiro one. I think I got them both from my figure collection actually. I usually don't buy figures from that secondhand, but they had a really good price, like fair prices compared to the store. Oh, thank you! Thank you, Waywolf Wolf, for the 420. Thank you very much. 420. I have a lot of friends that do... I don't think do is the right word. I have a lot of friends that smoke weed, but I don't. But I support it. I support the 420. But let me go ahead and get ready to read. Let me change the music to chill music. My chill reading music. Here we go. Okay. People actually smoke weed on 420? Well, probably not the time, but definitely the day. Definitely the day. But yeah, let me move to my bed. Hold on a second. Bed. Yeah! And see, y'all are behind me. So there we go. Bed. But yeah, last time I read the first 2 chapters, and chapters 2 and 3 are pretty much the same length as those 2, so that's why I'm gonna stop there. And then I'll finish it later. 4 and 5 are really short, actually, so I'll probably do something else that day, too. But I'll see. Y'all are funny. How am I doing today? I'm doing good. I didn't do a lot today, but I feel good, you know? I woke up really late. Like way later than I usually do. And I was upset because I felt like I slept through the whole day. I woke up at like 1 something. And I was like, oh no! Like I woke up at 8 AM and then I don't know what happened, and then I woke up again at 1, so that was bad. But it was I had a good dream, so that was nice. It was like a huge store, but the store was also like a playhouse. Like, you know when you go to like a jungle gym inside of a place like Chuck E. Cheese or something? It was like that. And me and my friends were in there. It was great. But I always get mad when I wake up because I can't keep all the stuff I bought. Shiro's hair on the cover looks nice. I agree! I love the art style. All the colors they use. Even though her hair is supposed to be white, apparently. But it's definitely blue and then a bunch of other colors. It's usually blue. You ever had those grocery stores that had video games and toys at the front entrance? I don't know. Usually there's toys like at the end of the aisle. But not like a whole section. Okay, let me go to chapter C. I think it's page 66. 66? Go. Okay. Chapter 2. Where you could rent video games at a grocery store? I don't think I was around for that. I don't think I was on Earth when that happened. I don't think I was around here when that happened. It sounds fake. Red box. That sounds familiar, but I don't think I used it. I went to Blockbuster though. I would rent games from Blockbuster. How old is Kipa canonically? That's a secret. My age is a secret, and it's not because I couldn't decide. It's definitely just a secret. Definitely. Is it a secret from Twitch? It's a secret from everybody. Yeah, every time I say my age, a train goes by, so you can't hear it. It's for the best. It's for the best. Okay, let me start. Ahem. Ahem. No more speculation. No more speculation. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know what it is. What am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything. Let me start. Okay. Chapter 2. Challenger. In the kingdom of... start over. Chapter 2. Challenger. In the kingdom of Elkia, the capital Elkia, specifically Block 3 of the Western District, The siblings had checked out of the inn, where they had more or less blackmailed the innkeeper into letting them stay several nights, without staying a single one. Now they greeted a new morn at Stephanie Dola's house, or to be more precise, the bath. Naked Shiro. Yes, we have to get there. Brother, please explain. Shiro was naked, and her head was being washed. Explain. If we're pushing the envelope, we gotta have a bath scene. What more explanation do you need? Brother, bath scenes are censored. Elementary school kids are totally off limit. Worry not, my sister. Mr. Steam is on the job, so we'll just be pushing the envelope. Thus declared Sora as he viewed the grand bath, unnaturally full of rising steam. Could it be that this is the only reason you ordered me to boil the grand baths? Steph washed Shiro's hair, aghast. Oh wait, yeah, I should probably tell you what's happening. I forgot. Everyone hasn't read it already. Okay, this is where we are so far. Sora and Shiro are two neats, and they stay in their house, they don't go to school, and they just play games all day. And they're known as like an urban legend of this amazing player that's at the top score of every like game. So they get challenged by a stranger, and once they win the match, they get transported to another world where everything is decided by game. And what's happened so far is they're at Stephanie's house, and Stephanie is, what's the word? She's not like a princess, but she's like the child of the previous ruler of their country. And they basically won a game against her to trick her to let them stay at her house. I'm sorry, I'm bad at explaining. They're at her house now, basically, after tricking her, so they can have a place to stay in this world. And soon they're gonna learn more about the world. And then we'll go to what happens next. So now they're in the bath. To do a fan service scene. But yes, it's a light novel. It's a read-along. So we're just reading and talking and stuff. And there's a few pictures, but of course it's not a manga, so there's not a ton of pictures. This time there's not going to be any pictures that I'm going to have to censor, so we're safe. We're safe. But yeah, they make a lot of self-referential jokes because the two characters watch anime and stuff and they like ecchi things, so they're like, how can we make these scenes without getting in trouble? They're like me, they're like, how far can we go without getting in trouble? So it works out in the end. So soon we're gonna figure out more about the world, and then we'll see what happens next. So yeah, page 2. Boink. Boink. This was perhaps what it meant to be part of a royal bloodline. Steph was even richer than Sora had imagined. Her mansion, built in a style vaguely reminiscent of Rome, was so big that the sibling who had known only Japan would have believed it if told it was a castle. Did I skip a bit? No, I'm starting from where I left off last time. Last time I streamed this, I read the first 2 chapters. The prologue and chapter 1. So I'm on chapter 2 now. But I'm gonna post these to YouTube if you feel inclined to catch up at some point. Sorry if this is confusing. Oh, the first page? I thought I did finish it. Did I? Oh no, I didn't! Okay, sorry. Where was I at? Where was I at? Oh, okay. Steph washed Shiro's hair, I guess. What do you mean the only reason? It's important. Do you know how much firewood the staff wasted for that? In addition, of course, it was impossible to get into a bath that was boiling. They had also wasted water to raise the steam. If you want to go there, what about you, using this huge bath all by yourself? Ugh. This was perhaps what it meant to be part of the royal bloodline. Steph was even richer than Sora had imagined. Her mansion, built in a style vaguely reminiscent of Rome, was so big that the siblings, who had known only Japan, would have believed it if told it was a castle. Steph's private bath, which they were using now, seemed spacious enough for 10 people to use. The bath, also reminiscent of Rome in its furnishings, was steamed up to be appropriate for all ages and was so magnificent that it was impossible to think that humans were in decline after losing so many games. Ah, excuse me. My sister hates baths. She always fusses. You can't... You can't show naked, you know what? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Even if it's R18. And won't let me wash her, so she doesn't get bathed much. After she suggested pushing the envelope yesterday, I thought I'd better take advantage of it. Brother, I hate you. It was about pushing the envelope on Steph. That was Shiro's subtext. My sister, if you do things right, you'll be a dazzling beauty, so do things right. I don't have to be a beauty. Your brother likes the beautiful Shiro better. Shiro groaned as if that meant something, but didn't end the discourse. Incest. Unwashed Shiro. Don't add a smiley face to that. Do not add a smiley face to that. That didn't really matter. Well, it was a little annoying how close they were, but setting that aside, there was a more important question that couldn't be ignored. This situation, the event that was currently transpiring. Why was she washing a naked Shiro's hair while a clothed Sora was behind her with his back turned? Sora, why do I have to be naked and washing Shiro's hair? No, don't all chime in. Why then had she not refused? She was well aware of her responsibility in this matter. Keep messing up. Keep messing up. Weren't you listening to me? Because this is the only way Shiro will take a bath. What? So you don't care about me? Huh? You want me to look? Of course not. I'm asking you if this is harassment. Don't worry, Steph. I intend to view your naked body carefully by other beings. Oh, horrible. Horrible. You like Sora and Shiro's relationship. It's not incest, it's more complicated. Well, yeah, canonically, it's more like, they're very codependent on each other. They need each other to function. They don't know how to be by themselves, or like their own people. But also, canonically, Shiro does have a crush on Sora, so... let me have that, okay? Let me have that. What? As soon as she heard this, she flushed red and hid her body. At the same time, at hearing Sora suggesting that he did have some interest in her, she felt relief. Steph looked around for a wall to bash her head against, but then Sora spoke up apologetically. However, for now you must forgive me. I cannot rely too fully on Mr. Steve. Excuse me? For instance, if I should join you in the bath only for my indolent member to suddenly regain motivation, or if Mr. Steam should fail to perform as hoped in preventing me from viewing my young sister directly, it won't be R18, it will be banned. I see. He didn't really, but Sora seemed to be saying that he didn't need to look right now. The limits of Steph's comprehension here were perhaps unavoidable. Set up in the bath were 2 phones and a tablet. Steph had no way of knowing the meaning of those little cameras. Later, Sora would have Director Shiro check the footage and show it to him if it seemed acceptable. Sora swore in his heart and repressed his urge to turn around. Oh yeah, by the way, in this world, the humans are like really far behind technologically, so Sora and Shiro have like a big advantage because they brought their phones and a tablet and some games with them. And they have a bunch of books and stuff downloaded on their tablet and stuff. So it's cool. And they have a solar-powered charger for all their things, coincidentally enough. Yes, they could charge those. But yeah. The humans suck because everybody else is like monsters and stuff, so they have magic, and the humans don't have anything. So that's why they're in trouble. Okay. Oh, there are other races to humans? Yeah, there's like furries, and there's elves, and there's like, I don't remember they were called succubus, but there's these ones that are basically succubus, and there's ones that are like angels, but like they're weapons, so they're very powerful. Stuff like that. I never saw the movie either, because Sora and Shiro aren't in it, so I was like, I don't care. I don't care at all. Okay. Ugh. That hits the spot. My hair is all papery. It's itchy. Sora had waited for Shiro to get out of the bath and then taken a quick shower. Sora was refreshed, having finally gotten a chance to wash himself. Shiro spoke to him crossly. Sora had been right, after all, about how Shiro looked when her hair was washed and nicely combed. Her tresses made a gentle wave, soft looking to the touch and white as snow, and further brought out her porcelain white skin, along with her round face, balanced features, and red eyes. She was like a doll made by a master of the craft. If only you could be like that all the time. It's such a waste. The movie is like a prequel. So the characters are... Is it a prequel or is it like after? Either way, the main characters are like their ancestors or like a reincarnation. It's one of those. I don't remember if it's before or after, because again, I didn't watch it. So it's like Shiro with a different hair color, you know? Just like a recolor. Like a shiny. It's not like anyone but you is gonna see. Sora too had just finally shaved, and despite his teasing was also looking sharper. How to put it? I blew it, thought Steph when she looked directly at him. She could hardly stop herself from getting a nosebleed. It was so... His initial scruffiness had been alleviated, and now he had a clean freshness of a fine young man. But that wasn't the problem. Steph desperately struggled to stop blood from dripping from her nose. You two, put on some clothes! She shouted at the towel-clad, half-naked siblings as they looked on blankly. You're the one who told us to send them for cleaning. Those are all the clothes we've got. Are they dry already? Sora asked, doubting that this world had dryers. To which Steph replied, That's fine then. I'll get you something else. I wonder if I have any gentleman's clothes. Why do I have to be? Steph turned, muttering to herself, to look for clothes. And 10 minutes later, in the same location as before, Steph had fallen to her knees and hung her head, experiencing massive regret. I blew it. Oh, so this is a butler's outfit. What you call a tailcoat. It's a bit formal, but it's like cosplay. It's so fun. Zero, you look good in that too. Too many frills. Hard to move. Zero was clad in a dress that Steph had worn as a child. Beep. There they are. Water. What? I love this outfit. Very cute. On both of them. And then you have Steph in the background. Do you see her? Lifting up her skirt because she can't move. I should have an outfit like that. One day. There's so many outfits I want to do. But it takes a lot of time to swap them out, honestly. Here's a secret. I'm actually working on my swimsuit model right now. Working on my swimsuit model earlier today. You have a friend that's super into Lolita and she goes to meetups and gets tea with other people. Yeah. I've gone to a few Lolita meetups too. They're really fun. I don't like tea, so I just pretend that it's good. I just pick one, but they're all the same to me, pretty much. One piece or two piece? It's a two piece. And that's all I'm gonna say. You have to wait and see. It was all very well that Steph had gone out to look for clothes to fit the half-naked pair, but she had no men's clothes, so she had to use the staff's. In other words, a butler's outfit. Likewise, the only clothes she could find to fit an 11-year-old girl were hers from her childhood. Now the siblings looked like a well-bred young lady and her fateful butler. Glance. Steph looked once more. Sora's wide shoulders and thin body somehow fit all too well as a butler, which set Steph's heart racing. And with the way his sister looked in charge of him, Steph's heart twinged for a third time. See, she gets it. She gets it. I blew it. Huh? Blew what? Never mind. Panicking at the sincerity that slipped out her mouth, Steph shook her head as she swept up her knees from the floor and got up. If Sora had been attuned to such maidenly subtleties, he wouldn't have been a virgin for 18 years. Well then, he murmured, now that we've got her asleep and freshened up in the bath. Steph? Yes? What is it? What are you so flustered about? Does this house, mansion, castle... Born and raised in Tokyo, Japan, Sora couldn't seem to find a category to fit Steph's dwelling, so he came to the conclusion that it didn't matter. Does this place have a library or a study or something? Someplace we can do research? Yes it does, but why? Are you hard of hearing, Steffi Poo? Of course, it's for research. I heard that, but I'm asking what you want to research. What? This world, of course. This world? Steph stood bewildered at his suggestion that there was another world. Brother, we haven't told her. As if still dissatisfied with her dried out hair, Shiro spoke sullenly. What? Is that so? Sorry, but I'm not seeing what this is about. Alright, it's tricky to find the words to explain when the subject gets brought up so formally. It was in that classic event in this kind of story, where the protagonist was bottlenecked by others' inability to believe them. Sora carefully searched for the right words to make her believe. Scratching his head, sighing, making a clearly bothered face. Awkwardly, casually, he let it out. Basically, we're people from another world, so we want to know more about this world. What are y'all talking about? Trying on other dresses and stuff. Y'all are funny. Okay, good night. Good night. The study. No. A library about the size of a high school's. Steph had led them to her personal study, filled with neatly lined bookshelves, reams of books covering the walls. It did seem perfect for research, but... Hey, Steph. Yes? What is it? Sora had hit upon one large, unexpected obstacle. Is this country's official language not Japanese? Sora groaned with an illegible book in his hand, holding his head. Japanese? I'm not sure what you're talking about, but naturally, humanity uses the humanity tongue. Whoa. This world is so simple. The problem was that even though Sora and Shiro were somehow able to converse with the people of this world, the characters written in the book made no sense at all. So you really did come from another world? Yeah, well, I'm not really expecting you to believe us. Sora knew they wouldn't be believed right away, so he wasn't even bothering to try. Oh no, it's not all that surprising. Steph's nonchalant answer took Sora aback. What? Why not? Now Steph went blank. Why not? I don't know. Some of the advanced magic used by the elves includes otherworldly summons, so it's not implausible that you might be like that. To begin with, I can see from your clothes and faces that you're not from this country. But you're still humanities no matter how you look at it. And this was, after all, the only human country left. Ah, I see. This is a fantasy world. Just speak common. Just speak everybody language. Jesus. Having had his expectations upturned, Sora sighed. He turned back to the illegible book and scratched his head. But it's still quite inconvenient not to be able to gather information by ourselves. Can you learn it, Shiro? Yeah? It seemed that the siblings were conducting some kind of communication that made sense only to them. They quietly cast their eyes on the book and fell silent. With the stillness in the corner of her eye, Steph sighed. And what do you want me to do? She added sarcastically that she could fall at his feet as a home tutor. But Sora made a different request, his eyes never leaving the book. No, there's something else. Sora's words reminded Steph of last night and this morning, and she braced herself, preparing not to be surprised at whatever perverted request was coming. Can you just answer me a few questions for now? Sure. That's quite alright. Steph felt the load come off her chest with this unexpectedly decent request. Sora asked with a perfectly serious face. You know, yesterday, why was it that when I fondled your breast, you didn't resist, but when I tried to flip up your skirt, you suddenly... Alright, never mind. I'll ask you a serious question. I was just joking. On the receiving end of Steph's piercing glare, Sora looked back down at the foot. He's so stupid. He's so dumb. I love him. My favorite kind of horrible character. Well, he's not horrible, but you know, menace to society character. Okay, so I keep hearing this word humanity, but what does it contrast to? Steph queried back as if this was a totally unexpected question. Weren't there any other races in your world? Well, humans were the only ones we could communicate with, at least, so, well, yes. Considering where she should begin, if they really were from another world, as they said, Steph began. Y'all are trying to decide if the flip skirt or the breast is better. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a hard choice. I would have to think about it. I would have to think about this. First, are you familiar with myth? You mean how the 10 Covenants came to be? I heard it from a minstrel who was playing by a fountain. Very well. In that case, ahem. He said if he wants breast, he could touch Shiro. Shiro doesn't have any. What do you mean? Shiro doesn't have anything. She's flat. And Steph has a lot. So, it's not the same. It's not the same. Races refer to the intelligent X-seeds to whom the gods' 10 covenants apply. X-seeds. War ended in this world when the 10 covenants came to prohibit all violations of rights, bodily injury, violence, and slaughter among the X-seeds. I see. I was wondering what you guys ate, but the covenants only apply to intelligent life, huh? Sora appeared to be reading the book, but was still grasping her words clearly. While inwardly marveling at his dexterity, Steph continued. However, perhaps I should call it war by games. Basically, struggle for territory. Play for dominion still continues. Play for dominion. Sora recognized the term. Is this the only Humanity nation? As of now, yes. It's not as if it's a requirement that each race have only one nation, but Elkia is the last bastion of humanity. Having heard that much, Sora went ahead and presented a question to which he already knew the answer. To compare basic assumptions between this world and their own, in other words. Why do you still fight over domain when there are no more wars? Can't you settle it by talking? I saw the squished the squished emote. It took me out. Why'd you squish it? Oh my gosh, that is so funny. You squished it. Yeah, I changed the read-along to today because Friday was... a lot happened Friday. A lot happened. You squished it. That's funny. Okay, I lost my place. You distracted me. Where was I at? Oh. But in the place of the faltering Steph, the sister answered, resources are finite. Living things can multiply indefinitely. Dividing a finite quantity by an infinite quantity destroys everything. Yes, exactly. Steph jumped on the pronouncement of the sister, who had answered before her, and nodded hurriedly. Come on, I know you didn't think of that. Sora looked at Steph. I don't think that's the right word. Sora looked at Steph as if disgusted by her input. Okay, rendered useless by his sister's prompter response. Well, what are you saying? It's so basic. Okay, I want to check my book. Hold on. What are y'all doing in there? What are y'all doing up there? Stop. Stop. Let me get my book. Kissing Kipas. What if we were both Kipas and we kissed? Let me see if it says that in my book. I get distracted by this kind of thing. This is why it takes me forever to finish reading the chapters. But I guess there's no reason to rush. Oh, it does say, in the print it says Sora looked as Steph as if. I don't think that's accurate. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. What if we kissed under the Kipa-jers? What is that? What's a Kipa-jer? What's a Kipa-jer? What if we were both Kipas and we kissed at the reading stream? I wish I could pull up more than one thing here, because I would just add another Kipa right now, if I could. Where am I at? Oh, I finished this page. Next. Well, this was a world where that was how things were since birth. The question of why living things would play games to take from each other, while perhaps considered, might be difficult to answer. Lanka is continuing the gift sub they got from Chrysalis. Aww. Thank you for continuing your sub. I don't think I have an alert for that. Or maybe I did. Thank you. What was it by? What do you mean? You have no idea. Oh, was it by accident? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Anyway, this is pretty much like our world in that respect after all. Sora sighed. Though combat had vanished, conflict remained. So, perfect equality was impossible. Musical chairs, after all, was a game about fighting for limited seats. In a way, the majority would draw the lot of poverty for the minority to prosper. Really, nothing had changed between this world and their own. So what kinds of races do the X-Seeds include? Sora cut his thinking short and returned to the conversation. Steph counted with her fingers uncertainly as she recalled what she had to memorize. Rank 1 is old... I don't know how to say this word. I think it's Deuce? I'm gonna say Deuce. Rank 1 is Old Deuce, defeated by the one true god. Rank 2 is Phantasma, rank 3 is Elemental, and then there's Dragonia and Gigant, and Elf and Werebeast, and so forth. I see, so pretty much your typical fantasy world. Sora mumbled his feedback to Steph's and so forth, amused that she had given up on remembering all 16 races, when something suddenly occurred to him. Hey, what do you mean rank? Well, I don't know much about it either, but apparently there's a ranking. Ranking? Yes, basically it's based on their magical aptitude scores, I hear. Apparently, basically, I hear. You don't really know what you're talking about, do you? Steph, did you study up on this stuff properly? As Sora put his loser self on a pedestal, Steph grimaced, muttered, and irritated. Fine already, and cleared her throat. I'll have you know, I graduated from the academy just fine. Human research still just hasn't made much progress on the ranking, because humanity is rank 16. That is, we have a magical aptitude score of 0. As much as we'd like to research it, we have no way of observing it. 0? Sora asked, looking up from his book. Wait a sec. Humans can't use magic? That's right, we can't even detect magic. What about if you, like, use an item or something? Steph graduated top of her class in Gorilla Tactics. It does read like a copy pasta a little bit. Very funny. We can use games created with magic, but it's just the game working by its magic. Humans can't use magic themselves. And this principle is absolute? Sora interrogated her persistently, but Steph didn't seem to get offended. Rather, it is. Spirit corridors. Humanity lacks these circuits to connect to the source of magic. Steph lowered her face for a bit. That's why we lose in the play for Dominion, you see. Sora gave a dry smile and pressed on. So in that case, who's the best at magic? Rank 1, right? Oh no, actually, if you go that high, they're gods. Their very being is a kind of magic. If you speak of being good at magic in the common sense, the best would be rank 7, which is the elf. Elf. The stereotypical image rose in his mind. Elf. By elf, you mean the pale guys with the pointy ears? You're certainly knowledgeable for someone from another world, said Steph's expression. Yes, indeed. Currently, Elvengard is the largest nation in the world. They've used their magic to climb their way to the top. If you say magic, you think of elves. Cussed Sora, placing his hand on his chin and thinking, looking into space with a gaze that could not be more serious. Her heart pounded at his serious profile and his tailcoat-clad aura of composure. It's an illusion, it's an illusion, it's an illusion, it's a planted emotion, Steph chanted to herself as if casting a spell. Meanwhile, Sora seemed to have got his thoughts together. Choosing his words as if probing for something, he queried. Are there any races that can't use magic but still have large nations? Nations. Oh god. It sounds wrong when I say it. Nations. Rub Kipa with money? What does that mean? Rub me with Echo. Rub me on my head with your hand, okay? Hap hap. Hap hap. Are there any races that can't use magic but still have large nations? Well, now that you mention it, rank 14 werebeasts can't use magic. Stammering, Steph somehow managed to answer. On the other hand, it's said that they have extraordinary senses, with which they can sense the presence of magic and read people's minds. The werebeasts have united their islands into the Great Ocean, to the southeast and to the Eastern Union, which has already become the 3rd largest nation in the world. Use coins. Do not use coins to head pat me, that will hurt. That will hurt. Heck. Please do not hit me in the head. Hold on a second. What? The coin slot? I don't have a coin slot. I don't like the implication. I don't have a coin slot anywhere. You have 92k Dogecoin. That's a lot of coins. That's a lot of coins. Hold on, I'm looking through my book again real quick. Okay. Okay, where am I at? Okay, Steph continued painfully, unconsciously squeezing her arm with the hand she had on it. Indeed, that is a race in nature with which, unable to use magic itself, has not overcome, but at least come to rival Elvengard with powers beyond the reach of humanity. But the other side of it is that it was all accomplished using powers that, from the point of view of humanity, are still supernatural or extrasensory. Rename my channel points to Kipa coins. I will! I forgot to do it. I'll do it after the stream. I'll change it to Kipa coin. I will. Where is I at? Okay. That's interesting. Humans couldn't use magic. Nor could they even tell if it had been used. There could be no victory when the other side was cheating in a way that was impossible to catch. If that's what they thought, then yeah, they would lose. I see how it is. Just as Sora was nodding deeply, as if everything made sense. Brother, I've learned it. Zero's voice rang out. Oh, that's my sister. Praise me more. Of course, that's my sister. I'm so proud of you. You genius girl, you. Wassa. Sora stood and messed up Shiro's hair as she squinted with pleasure like a cat. Steph looked on, uncomprehending. Huh? Learn what? Learn what? The humanity tongue, of course. Sora looked blankly at Steph and tossed his words off casually. But yeah, you're so awesome. It's still gonna take me a little while longer. Brother, you're slow. Hehehe. It's better for a man to be slow than fast, you know. Brother, you're so small. Speaking of small in the chat. No, I'm not. How do you even... Steph, what's up? Steph was watching their banter agape. She spoke in a falsetto. Excuse me, did I hear you correctly? Did you say she learned a whole language? Yeah, so? Shiro nodded once in agreement. In this short time? You're kidding, right? Steph checked again with a strained face. Sora answered carelessly. It's not that big a deal. As far as we've spoken, our grammar and vocabulary is exactly the same. All we need to learn is your writing system and we're done. And you still haven't learned it, brother. I can't learn it in 15 minutes. That's crazy. I'm not as smart as you. Give me another hour. Anyway, what is this? I can't figure out the pattern for how the symbol is used. Don't think of it like that. Oh, I mean, don't think of that like Japanese. Think of it like a romance language. No, I mean, I thought of that, but then look at the grammar. The predicate would be in the wrong position. Classical Chinese. What? It's inverted only in writing? What a pain in the ass. Oh, but yeah, that does work. Brother, learn more languages. Come on, you're the special one who can speak 18 languages, including their classical forms. Your brother's a mundane who only knows 6 languages, but that's enough for gaming. Steph watched this banter incredulously, but the siblings didn't seem to think anything of it, and tossed it around like it was all in a day's work. But it was true that the words and speech were the same. All they had to do was learn the writing system. You might say, when you lay it out, it shouldn't be that hard after all. But you have noticed that they were working with another important factor. That is, to do that without being taught by anyone wasn't learning, it was deciphering. And accomplishing that in such a short time wasn't even something to brag about for them. Was this normal in their world? Two beings that had already completely overturned her understanding. Looking at the otherworldly sibling, Steph felt a chill run down her spine, but also a heat that built faintly in her heart. Could it be? Perhaps she really had met people who were completely beyond this world. How many languages do you need to know for gaming? 6, apparently. The question is, what are those 6 languages? You need me, you a Shiro. I love Shiro. I want a Shiro too. You could sit next to me, right here, and help me read. A Shiro plushie PNG. Or I could put like a figure next to me. People who could change this nation. What is it? Steph's heart jumped at Sora, who turned as if he noticed her eyes. No, I'm gonna make some tea. As Steph scuttled out of the library, her eyes looked slightly reddish. Watching uncertainly, Sora wondered, what's up with her? While Shiro went on reading without so much as a glance. Brother, you don't understand girls. Yes, that's why I've been a virgin for 18 years. Wait, does that even have anything to do with it? Here was an 18-year-old man being lectured about feminine psychology by his 11-year-old sister. They do say that boys mature emotionally slower than girls. In this case, at least, that seemed to be a fact. Even though you're better than me at reading people. In contrast to Shiro's muttering, Sora spoke proudly. You want to put Shiro in a jar? No! No, jars are banned. No jars are allowed in this location. No jars. No! No jars! Nobody goes in a jar! If you put me in a jar, I'm gonna break it and run away. No! Bad! Stop it! Bad! Demon-proof glass? No, I'll climb out. I'll unscrew the top from the inside. I will escape. Demon-proof cap. Well, okay. You have to think about it like this. You're gonna have to open the jar. And when you open the jar, that's my moment to strike. So it's like if you were catching a wasp in your house and you stick it under a cup. You catch a wasp under a cup. It's in there. But you have to move it, you know? At some point, you can't just leave it there. Can't just leave it there. Where was I at? Oh. In contrast to Shiro's muttering Bora? I keep saying stupid stuff. Sora spoke proudly. Y'all are messing me up. Applying it to games is completely different from real-life socialization. In a manner of speaking, girls, no, people, yes. Girls were like a visual novel where you had to make tens of thousands of time choices every second. How could it be other than self-evident that such a game was ridiculous and impossible? But that was beside the point right now. Got it. Sora had finally learned to read humanity with the help of his sister. He checked that he had managed to read the whole volume, and closed the hardcover book with a thud. Then his face went serious as he joined his hands in front of his face. So, Shiro. You realized already, right? Yeah. The siblings exchanged dialogue that only made sense to them. What do you think? The brother asked with an uncharacteristic lack of conviction, but Shiro just closed her eyes. I'll follow you. Opening her eyes just a little, with her typical lack of expression, she spoke in monotone. Just as I promised, anywhere. I promise. Man, girls are a lot like visual novels. I mean, if you think about it in a simple way, you know, when you want to go on a certain route with a girl, you talk to her a lot and you give her things that she likes. And you're nice to her and then she likes you. That's pretty much accurate. I think. I think that's accurate. So he's not that wrong. You talk to them a lot, you give them treats, and you be nice. Do demons need oxygen? Probably. I've never been deprived of oxygen, so I don't know. But probably. How do you send salmon to Kipa? You put it in a letter and you put a stamp on it and you send it to my house. His dad's new wife had brought him a sister, Shiro. The sister who was born too smart and the brother who was born too dumb. Askew, they fit each other's siblings better than real siblings ever could. And when they came to be abandoned even by their parents, devoid of friends or allies, they exchanged a certain promise. The sister who was too good and so couldn't understand people. The brother who was too bad and so read people's expressions too deeply. Considering their complementary nature, the then 10-year-old brother made a promise. The 3-year-old sister, an already multilingual sister, nodded and pinky promised. He rubbed the sister's head. It had been 8 years since the sister had said that she would deign to follow him, Shiro. The brother who had never ended up taking her out of the room, Sora. If you asked if they had any regrets. Well, maybe I can take you someplace more fun than that world? Looking at the chess pieces visible beyond the distant horizon, Sora extracted his phone and started his task scheduler. You're just gonna address it to Kipa House. Yeah, that's my address. 666 Kipa House. Wait, I'm missing stuff. Hold on. Yeah, 666 Kipa House. Gehenna. And then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The zip code is 5 numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Demon Realm, USA. Right, I am in USA right now, so Demon Realm, USA, probably. Demon Ocean, USA. 666 Kipa House. Demon Ocean, USA. No, I'm near the ocean. I'm near the water. That's where all the fish are. The big fish. Steph fixed her gaze on the bubbling hot water. It was important to pay attention not only to the time to steep the leaves, but also to the temperature of the water to put them in. The pancakes she had made the previous day would accompany it. The pancakes didn't really have the sugar they needed for tea, since humans had long since lost the land where it was grown. However, she compensated using cinnamon and other spices. She was quite proud of her work. Putting the tea set and the dainty plates of cut pancakes on a tray. Alright, I think this should be good. Wiping her brow at the sense of accomplishment of a job well done. Excuse me, miss. The maids interjected as if they had been waiting long for the right timing. Oh, what is it? Are you in Florida? Are you in the water? No. I'm not in Florida or in the water. Also, I can't swim, so I would not be in the water. I cannot swim. I cannot. I'm scared to learn, so I haven't. Oh, well, Well, excuse my impertinence, but is something wrong, miss? Impertinent indeed. What's this all of a sudden? Well, it's just... If you had asked, we, the staff, certainly would have prepared tea and sweets for you, yet you went ahead and steeped your own without a word and with so much effort. Huh? Come to think of it, why should I have to steep my own tea? Faced with this question, Steph saw a certain image in her mind's eye. Oh, this is delicious. I didn't know you were so good around the house, Steph. It was Sora, with a smile on his face and a teacup in his hand. Flush, the feeling of blood rising to her cheeks. Ah, God! Steph screamed and bashed her head against the wall. Why'd I have to show off how good I am around the house with my homemade sweets? A man like that deserves nothing but water, with some rocks and grass as a side. Miss, please compose yourself. Miss Stephanie has lost her. The maids fell into a chaos as they tried to stop Steph's forehead resounding against the wall. The sound of the impacts loud and dull. I'm near the ocean because that's where all the fish are. Pay attention. That's where all the fish are. I will say in regards to Florida though, alligators do taste good, or crocodiles, whichever one they have, they taste good. If you ever want to eat a crocodile, I would say yes. I am pro eating crocodile. Sighing, Steph carried a silver tray down the hall. On the tray were a tea set and sweets for two, that is, the siblings. In the end, she couldn't win against her emotions and ended up bringing what she had prepared, and that made her sigh again. She hated herself, and yet, would she imagine being told it was delicious? I can't deny, part of me is looking forward to it. However, Steph froze in place. Wait a minute, Stephanie. Is this a taste that will appeal to otherworlders? Steph did have confidence in her own tea and baking skills, but her guess... Scientists should study Steph, as she has somehow not gotten a concussion with the amount of time she hits her head. She doesn't have anything in there. That's why. Hey, stupid. Alligators, crocs are in Africa? Okay, I am pro eating alligator. Pro alligator eating. Her guests were from another world. Oh crap. Another image crossed her mind. Ugh, sorry, I gotta pass on this. Sora with a face. Ah, that's no good. Then I won't be able to get out by saying it was the maids. Wait, why do I need an out? I don't care what... Yes, I do. Oh god, this is a curse. Already too frazzled to see straight, Steph breathed deeply and assembled an excuse in service of collecting her thoughts. That's right. They've already belittled me to no end. Should they now think I'm not capable of preparing some simple tea and sweets, it will bring shame upon the house of Dola. There is no mistaking that this is delicious. If it suits them not, it is a difference in culture, and certainly not, Muttering excuses with her hands full, Steph struggled to open the door of her library and came back in. What's this? But wherever she looked, the siblings had disappeared. She looked around and saw that on the second floor of the room above the stairs, the door to the veranda had been opened and the curtains swayed in the wind. Steph went out onto the veranda, and there they were. The brother, in his butler outfit, was leaning over the rail of the veranda, capturing the city with his phone. The sister, a white-haired version of a young lady, was leaning against her brother's leg, reading a book. They seemed so natural as two in one, as though they would perish if split apart. And at the too picturesque sight of their relationship, Steph felt a significant constriction in her chest, while telling herself it was just nerves. The town's excited. Sora spoke to her, watching the commotion outside. Yes, it is. After all, the gambling tournament to decide the monarch is still underway. She placed the tray on the veranda table and poured tea into the cups. So, here's tea. Oh, thanks. For the little sister as well. Sora took a swig of tea and looked back out on the city. His first impression, the town of a typical fantasy world, had been a little bit off. Perhaps it was because the town had never been destroyed since war was forbidden. Several styles of architecture intermingled, reminiscent of Roman, classical, and Baroque. The streets were paved, yet what traveled on them were carriages, and in the distant port floated 3-masted sailing vessels. It appeared that not even the steam engine had been invented. The terrace fields built on the hills, visible in the distance, were being cultivated with methods even older than the mode of the city. I want a chocolate pie now. Get a chocolate pie. Make one. Make one. Here was the recoil from not waging war. War had the ironic effect of accelerating science, pushing technology for fertilizer and fuel forward. Thinking back, Sora realized the books he had viewed in Steph's library were, almost without exception, handwritten and hand-copied. Printing either had not been invented yet or was not widely available. The Europe of the mid-Renaissance. Before the sky was sullied by the Industrial Revolution, a beautiful town. Nice strategy game, quote. But then Sora thought, according to myth, the Great War that had reduced the planet to scorched earth hadn't happened only thousands of years ago. It was said that it had happened thousands of years already by the time the covenants were exchanged. Humanity couldn't use magic at all. In other words, humans labored under conditions equivalent to those in the world where they used to be. After thousands of years, they were still at the level of their world in the early 15th century. In that case, what about the races who could use cheats like magic? What in the world were their civilizations like? Then it occurred to Sora. Hey Steph, why did you want to be queen? Excuse me? Well, I heard a rumor that you were desperate because you weren't going to be royalty anymore. He recited what he'd heard outside the tavern inn, but I don't really care about that. Rumors were rumors after all, to be dismissed with a laugh. She came beside Sora, leaned from the veranda, and looked out at the town. This nation, Elkia, it used to actually be a pretty big country, you know? She spoke with eyes that seemed to be looking into the distance, into the past. Long ago, there were several humanity nations in the world. It was the biggest. With a hint of pride, but also irony, she continued. Big enough to be the last nation of humanity after it lost and lost ever since the 10 Covenants. It might look to you like we're a happy, bustling place, but no, Elkia has declined. Once more looking out at the commotion of the town, but this time with sad eyes. Following her gaze, Sora found that he could imagine. Territory loss, surplus population on insufficient land, shortages of resources and food leading to a deadlocked economy. Without land for food, there could be no production, and without production, there could be no jobs. The 10 Covenants may have secured peace, but then he remembered. The bandits who had attacked them as soon as they arrived in this world. The brother looked steadily in the direction of the cliff. His sister, who had been leaning on his legs reading a book, turned to Steph. The world building's pretty good. Yeah, I really like this world. I wish there was a second season too. But I guess there was drama because of the art theft situation. If anyone heard about that. If not, I'll talk about it in a few after I finish this chapter. Theft. 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 It's true, the old king, my grandfather, lost repeatedly in the play for Dominion until we were backed into the capital with nothing else left. But humanity had already been beaten to the ground, left poor as dirt. Gripping the railing, Steph spoke as if grinding her teeth. My grandfather was reviled as a fool king, yet he went on trying to save the country. He wasn't wrong. If they didn't take back their land, humans wouldn't have long anyway. Rather than sit and wait for destruction, he chose to charge forward for a chance at salvation. Something like that. I wanted to save Elkia. And then Steph seemed to be fighting back tears. And I wanted to prove that my grandfather wasn't wrong. I wanted to prove that for humanity to live, we had to take back our territory, even if it means going on the offensive. Or it won't be long before we really are gone. At Steph's words wrung from her gloomy expression, Shiro asked a question with her usual look of indifference. Steph, this country, this world, do you like it? Yes, of course. With a smile mixed with tears, Steph answered without hesitation, but the siblings lowered their heads instead. Sounds nice. Yeah, I really envy you being able to say that with conviction. But the brother continued in a quiet but implacable voice and cut down Stephanie Dola's hope. But your wish won't come true. What? I'm also sorry to say. He rained a second blow upon the speechless Steph. Your grandfather ended his life as the worst fool king of all time, no matter how you look at it. Breaking a terribly long silence, Steph opened her mouth as if squeezing it out. What makes you say that? Biting her lip and feeling her nails stabbing her clenched fist. If violence were not forbidden in this world, her palm would likely have flown to Sora's cheek. But instead she spun her certain anger into words. Because she loved him. No, because she had been made to love him. It was that much more difficult to tolerate this insult from him. However, in response to her question, Sora only sighed and scrolled through the photos he'd taken on his phone. A town reminiscent of 15th century Europe. A beautiful town where new and old architecture intermingled thanks to the lack of war. But that was why it was so sad. At this rate, this country will die. At the same time, the next monarch is chosen. Words she hadn't anticipated at all sent Steph not into confusion, but almost into hysteria as she rebutted. What do you mean? The very purpose of this tournament is... With an air of disbelief, Sora and Shiro looked up above their heads. The sky wasn't gray like the one they knew, but blue as if primary color ink had been spilled all over it. And they thought back to when they came to this world, to what God said, Disboard, the world on a board where everything was decided by simple games, the world we dreamed of, in which we've been reborn. Steph, how long is this gambling tournament? Steph looked dissatisfied that she had still not received a proper answer, but she replied anyway. Today is the last day, turning her gaze east from the veranda to the place that looked like a castle. In the evening, the final match will be held in the royal hall. If no one raises any objections, the winner will become the new monarch. What of it? Whomp. Whomp. The sister closed her book and stood up. The brother stretched dramatically and slapped his cheeks. Hey, little sister. Will you follow your brother no matter what? Yeah. Wow, that was quick. I mean, I've got to prepare myself too. BS. You look like you're having fun. She was expressionless as usual, but there was a hint of a smile only her brother could see. Haha, I can't fool you, eh? At this, the two turned and walked back. What? Wait, where are you going? The royal castle. Huh? Unable to grasp the intent behind Sora's prompt answer, Steph uttered a silly sound, but they took no notice and went on. We'll go to prove your grandfather was right. What? Feeling the presence of Steph hurriedly catching up behind him, Sora checked what he had put into the task scheduler on his phone. Objective: try being king, for now. Sora chuckled, put his phone back in his pocket, and spoke. After we managed to get reborn into this world, it would suck if we ended up without a place to live. Shiro nodded in agreement. I think I'll go become king and take back some territory. Had she heard him right? Stephanie Dola carefully reviewed the words she had heard. Once she was sure she couldn't have misheard him, she looked at his back. He had a bounce in his step as if he was just going down the street for some groceries. But it was full of brazen pride and confidence, like he was going to check something that had already been settled. The back of a man who had declared he would reclaim the territory of the human race. Oh, that's right. Sora grabbed the sweet that had been left on the table of the veranda and stuffed it in his mouth. Oh. With Steph looking like she'd forgotten herself, Sora spoke. This is good. The tea and sweets were both really good. Thanks. Sora turned to say these words with a smile. Was it, after all, the covenants that made her heart race? Stephanie hardly knew anymore. And that's chapter 2. That was longer than I thought. We're almost at an hour and a half. Wow. They need a place to stay, so Sora decides to rule a country and take some territory. Yeah, it's funny, they just decide stuff. They're like, I'm gonna do this now. Let's just become king now. And so the next chapter is... I'm gonna pause for a second. We'll just pause for a sec, but I'll turn to it. Or I'll wait. I'll wait. The next chapter is... the game. I'm pretty sure it's the whole game, which is why it's a long chapter. The next chapter is their game to try and become king. But yeah, y'all say it's a cool chapter so far? We'll finally get into a game next in a second. But yeah, the art theft thing is like... basically it came out that a lot of the art used for No Game No Life, whether it was promotional stuff or drawings in the books, parts of them were traced or heavily referenced from other artists in the industry. Like, and it wasn't just one or two, it was like a lot of different work where a lot of a drawing or a character was referenced or traced. So it was pretty bad. And a lot of people speculate that that's why they didn't go through with a season 2. And in regards to the manga, I'm pretty sure there's only a few chapters out of the manga. Like, it doesn't cover a lot of the story at all. So that's why I didn't even bother with the manga. Yeah, but one thing that's interesting to me is they're still making merchandise. So it makes me wonder if... but... that's not the reason. Like, they might bring it back and they're just taking their time. Because they're still making figures, like new figures. Like, just this year, they posted prototypes and new figures of Shiro and some other characters, I'm pretty sure. Was it the writer doing this or what? Yeah, because the writer draws too. And sometimes he had his wife draw pictures, but I don't remember if it was the wife or him. Well, yeah, I know you can make merch, but if it's just surprising to me if they were actually going to shun the series and not make any more content, that they would still promote it, you know? So there might still be a chance because they're not shunning it so much that they won't make anything else. Like, they're still making nice figures and stuff. It kind of sucks knowing this book was written by a tracer. Yeah, it's a little disappointing, but I still really enjoy the story, you know? Like, I still enjoy the work that he has created, even if he did some things that aren't that good. A tracer, an art tracer. Yeah, some of the pictures and stuff that he's done for this series, he traced like parts of the drawings from other artists. Sometimes it would just be like a hand in one drawing, but other times it would be like the whole pose. So, but the series is still banging, so I don't care. I mean, it's bad, but you know, tracing is bad. As an artist, you know, I would be bothered if somebody traced my stuff. But I also realize that tracing does not make you an evil person. I feel like some people get like really upset. How do you even figure out that a drawing is traced? You overlay them and you can see that it's pretty much the same exact lines, basically. There's like a compilation. I'm sure you can look it up and see. It was like an album where someone showed all the comparisons. I would love to have a Kipa figure. One day. One day, if I get super duper ooper popular, I will do a figure Kickstarter, okay? That is definitely something I want to do if I get popular enough where I can afford it. Because figures are pricey. That's the only thing that's stopping me. Oh, what did you miss? We're just talking a little bit before I go to the next chapter. But yeah, most of my figures are lollies too. Let me look and see. Let me turn around real quick. Yeah, most of them are. I have a few guy figures though. Well, I have a picture. I posted a picture on Twitter of 2 of my No Gain No Life figures if you want to see. But the problem is I've shared pictures of my figure collection with my friends, and so if I post them on my art page, I feel like people will be able to find my personal page, and I don't want that because I like to be free on my personal page. On my personal page, I can be a little freak, psycho, insane, crazy, twisted psychopath. So yeah. It's funny because I don't even do anything. I don't argue with people. I don't say mean things to people, but so many people have me blocked. It's really funny on my personal page. I'm like, I didn't even do anything. I didn't do anything. This guy blocked me over My Little Pony because I said I thought one of the ponies was ugly and he got mad at me. I was like, she's ugly, and he was like, no, she's not. And I was like, she's ugly. I'm sorry. And then he blocked me. No, I didn't. I haven't posted it because I want to keep it separate, basically. Really, it's not that different from my normal page. Like, there's just a lot more art retweets. No, I wasn't mean. It was like, I said the pony was ugly. I wasn't even talking to him. I said, I think this pony is ugly. And he was like, what are you talking about? She's super well designed, blah, 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 blah. Like, he wrote a whole thread in response to me saying I thought this pony was ugly. So I was like, he's not gonna fuck you. And then he blocked me. I guess that was me thinking back on it. I guess that was me. I love Suyu though. She's cute. She's perfectly designed. She's perfectly designed. Oh, let me check this figure. Can I open it? Oh, the cat Shiro! I want the cat Shiro so bad. I want cat Shiro so bad. She is so cute. So cute. Yeah, Suyu is the frog girl from My Hero Academia. Okay, I'm gonna go get another water bottle. And I'm gonna go stretch my legs for a second. And then I'll come and read the next chapter. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna change to my now loading screen. What are y'all doing? I'm back. What are y'all doing? No discourse. Illegal. Discourse doesn't exist here. There's no drama here. Only fun and chill. They can't get you here. They can't hurt you here. Who's the hottest anime girl? I can't choose. I like too many characters. I kind of envy, well, not envy, but I kind of admire in like a weird way, like waifuists who can pick one character as their favorite and they get like a ton of stuff of that character. I've always thought like, huh, I wish I could be dedicated like that. The hottest anime girl is Kipa. Yeah, my anime is coming out in the winter. My anime is coming out. It's going to be... what genre? It's going to be a ecchi slice of life with some battles. So it's not shonen, but the fights are good enough to be. No, not horror, no! Yes, a shonen ecchi slice of life. Basically, I'm just gonna put my favorite genres all together. Slice of life, lolly anime. Wataten. Wataten. Watch it. Maybe we should watch it one day. Wataten. Wataten. I think it's like Watashi ni tenshi ga Watashi ni tenshi ga mai yorita. An angel flew down to me. Watch it. Watch it. Also, this is coming out soon. I have no idea how to say it, so I'm gonna type it. Watch her anime when it comes out. I think that's what it's called. Ah, I can't wait for that to come out. Brown. Yeah, my keyboard's loud as heck. I got a loud clicky ass keyboard. Brown. Every time I see a brown anime girl, that's what happens in my brain. It's just like brown in all caps. Once the anime comes out, you can learn how to say her name. I know, I'm looking forward to that. In my head, I think I say it like Jian Yi. And I know that's not right, but my brain says like Jian Yi or Jian by itself. Jahi. Jafi. Jashi. Brown. It's good. Like, I don't care if it's like a tan or whatever race they are or whatever. I just brown. Good. That's all I want. Brown. Okay, chapter 3. Is Kipa considered lolly? Everyone says so, so I will say yes. Is Nagatoro brown enough? Yes. I'm pretty sure Nagatoro is like the same tone as me, because I'm really not that dark. I'm pretty light in color. But that's just my color. I'm just a light brown. I'm sorry. I'm caramel colored. I was born this way. Yeah, I was surprised they added pretty good fan service to it. I thought they would censor most of it. But I need to catch up. I'm a few episodes behind on Nagatoro. Probably like 4 or 5 episodes. Or however many are out. Am I caramel flavored? I don't know. You'll have to see. You're caramel, that's why you'd go well with chocolate. No, I wouldn't, because caramel and chocolate are nasty. I'm nasty, so don't chomp on me. I'm gross. I'm disgusting. No! Ow! Ow! Chapter 3! Expert. I don't see the chat anymore. Chapter 3, Expert. Evening. Great Hall, Elkia Royal Castle. There, where it appeared that the final match to decide the monarch had ended. In front of the throne were a small table and a pair of chairs. One person sat there, surrounded by a crowd that packed the hall. Sitting at the table, with folded arms and a blank expression, with black clothes and a black veil as if for a funeral, with an emptiness about her that somehow suggested a corpse, was a girl with long black hair. Yes, it was that girl. The one who had cheated to eliminate Steph at the tavern. An old man wrapped in official-looking garb spoke. This woman... Chalamizel has in the end emerged victorious in the battle to decide the crown. Is there anyone left who would challenge her? The hall only murmured. It seemed there was no one who would challenge her. It was as expected, for Chalami had so far won every match she had fought. At this point, there could be no one who expected to defeat her. Chalami closing her eyes upon these facts and casting a still deeper emotionless shadow over her expressionless face. Seeing this, the old man continued. Then, in accordance with the will of the late king, I shall crown Chalami as the new queen of Elkia. If there be anyone among you who may object, speak now. If not, your silence shall... Oh yeah, here! Objection! Objection! At that voice which rang out to interrupt this speech, the black-haired girl Chalami's eyes opened. The eyes of the stirring crowd all turned at once to the source of the voice. And there stood a butler and a girl with long white hair, Sora and Shiro, raising their hands. Oh, y'all got the emote. The crying. I love that emoji. I use it every day. I use it literally every single day. Shut up. It's not. It's not. It's... Well, actually, it is the emote subs use, because you're a sub using the emote. So now what? Only subs can use the emote. So technically... technically... Well, I just added it, so it's probably gotta take a while to get to everybody. Oh. Right. We have an objection. We too. Who are you? Chalami looked at them expressionlessly, then moved her eyes behind them. Servants of Stephanie Dola? Behind the two, Steph's shoulders jolted, and emotionlessly, but with a trace of ridicule, Chalami spoke. You disqualified yourself by losing to me, and now you send your servants? Truly, your inability to accept defeat is unsightly, Chalami said, making no attempt to conceal her scorn. But Sora stepped up lightly and replied, Aha, you're in no place to talk about that, are you? Whatever do you mean? Well, you know, really, I'm not that interested in the royal throne and such. It seems like it would be a drag. As Sora spoke, scratching his head, looking like he really thought it was a drag, Chalami squinted. Then, would you please leave my sight? This is no place to bring children to play. Sora smiled and continued. But you know, he said, sharpening his gaze. It's no place to give the throne to a charlatan backed by another country either now, is it? This line made a stir in the castle. Another country? What's this about? Ignoring such voices, Sora asked so only Shiro could hear. You find him? Shiro's hand was the phone Sora... Huh? Oh, in Shiro's hand was the phone Sora had used the previous day to capture the tavern. Shiro answered with the number of people who were in the photos, displayed on the screen and also in this hall. 4. How many of them have their ears hidden? 1. Bingo. Point in sync with me. As the siblings plotted, Steph looked up. Or spoke up. You love the way the siblings work together. Me too! They are destined to be. Hey, what's this about another country? Steph whispered this to Sora, who answered disgustedly. You still don't get it? Okay, hypothetically, alright? Hypothetically. And then loudly. Hypothetically, if someone who won using magic by colluding with an elf were to become the monarch, this country would be screwed, right? The din in the castle finally began to take on a note of fear. As Sora watched, he wondered, hadn't anyone figured it out? Well, if no one can catch on to such a glaring flaw, it's only natural that humans would get their asses kicked. You there. Quietly standing up, Chalami walked towards Sora. With a face from which feeling was obscured even further by the veil, and with a strangely intimidating presence. Are you trying to say that I'm using magic to cheat? Oh my, didn't you hear me say hypothetically? Or did I hit a nerve? But it was as if he didn't even feel her presence, brushing it off like a leaf. Sora's provocation was clear, but he must have had absolute confidence. Very well, if you object, then I shall certainly give you your game. Thanks, I sure appreciate it, but... As Chalami tried to take out her cards, Sora cut her off. If you want to play poker, it would be better if you got rid of your partner over there. As Sora said this with a smile, Shiro took his cue and pointed. The din quieted like a wave that had broken, and all eyes turned in that direction. Chalami and the man pointed to slightly tense their faces at the same time. That little change was more than enough to show Sora that he was dead on. Whatever are you talking about? Oh really? Then will someone take off that guy's hat? The man pointed to took a step back, but the crowd around him slowly drew off his hat, and 2 ears popped out. The kind you always see in fantasy. That's right, the long ears of an elf. It's an elf! The crowd murmured. Hey wait, what if that guy's actually right? You said Sora's starting to know too much. Well, that's kind of the point. It's like Sora and Shiro are insanely smart for no reason, basically. But it's very fun. Also, I did just get an email that the emote was approved. I didn't know I got emails for that. But okay. The crowd murmured more loudly. I don't like saying that word. I'm gonna skip it. That meanie. She was cheating with magic. Oh, my dear, cool, beauty wannabe charlatan. Aren't you going to save your friend? Though Sora teased her, Chalami did not change her expression. Gamers rise up. Oh no. Oh no. Well, we are on Twitch, so it should be fine. Gamers rise up. If you so choose. How many times must I tell you? I have no idea what you speak of. Oh, okay, so we can kick him out. No problem, right? Sora beamed and flicked his hand a couple of times so as to dismiss the man to the outside. And once again, he faced Chalami and pulled out another phone. Shiro's phone. Alright, are you ready for some poker? Launching an app or two on the phone, Sora played around with a smile. A few seconds of silence, then Chalami, still expressionless, closed her eyes and spoke. I see you found an elf to collude with to put me up as a magic-using enemy of the human race. Is that it? Huh? You think of some pretty good excuses, or did you have it reserved? So Sora continued with his provocations. Chalami kept speaking. But if that's how you want to play, I have my pride. Still letting no expression through, while staring daggers through her veil, through Sora. Please go ahead and send that elf wherever you like, and then let us play a game ideal for demonstrating true skill, with no part for cheating to play. You're heading out? Okay, bye! Have fun! Bowling. I haven't bowled in a long time. I used to be really good at it. I'm probably not anymore though. I'm glad you have fun here. And yeah, we'll do some more stuff next week. Yup, yup, yup. Yup, yup, yup. Where is I at? Oh, please. You'll get a strike for me, good. A Kipa strike. Lost my place. Oh, okay. But Sora grinned back as if her proposal were just what he was expecting. That's fine. 5th of the 10 Covenant. The party challenge shall have the right to determine the game. I won't ask you why you declined to play poker though. I'm such a nice guy. A little heart. Sora turned his phone camera to Chalami and snapped a picture. You're not very photogenic, you know. You'd really look cuter if you smiled a little more. And he showed her the picture on his screen. Chalami's piercing stare was met by Sora's eyes as if peering in. Those eyes peering in as if seeing through everything. Chalami felt a slight chill. Certified nice guy. Sora's kind of... you know. But it's fun to have a character that's kind of shitty. In my opinion. You wanna know why I keep tripping over words, by the way? It's because I read faster than I speak. So I started mixing words together because I see them ahead. I read super freaking fast. And my voice cannot catch up. Also, Sora, Shiro, and Steph all have a very similar S name, so sometimes I mix their names up in my head. But let's keep going. Chalami, having said she'd go home and get a game ideal for demonstrating true skill or something, said to wait a bit and left the castle. Sora and company, for their part, decided to wait in the sunset of the castle courtyard. As Sora and Shiro sat on a bench and waited, playing with their phones, Steph looked about, checking that no one was around and then posing a question to Sora as if she'd been waiting forever. Does that mean she used magic on me? Hey, you're too loud! Steph didn't seem to get why they had moved, but it did seem that she had finally grasped the truth of the cheating that had defeated her. Especially knowing that the cheating was based on magic, her feelings were understandable. But Sora thought of something else and answered absently. Yeah, that's right. To be precise, that elf of hers did, I guess. What kind of magic? What kind of magic they had used? And how could Sora, a mere human, have seen through it? Another question was that thing they were using. Some tool from their world. Could it detect magic? Steph waited for the answer with expectant eyes, but what came back? Who knows? I sure don't. Betrayed her expectations entirely. Ignoring Steph as she gaped speechless, Sora answered calmly. There's no question she's cheating. In the tavern we saw her playing you, but the composition of her hands was obviously non-random. Shiro and I both noticed right away. Shiro noticed. You're such a stickler, my sister. Well, whatever. The day before, at the tavern on the first floor of the inn, inside Steph and Chalami had played poker, and outside Sora had cheated while playing the very same game of poker. The pronouncement he'd made on the matter had been absolute, but but there's no way I could figure out how she's doing it. I don't know anything about magic. Sora answered indifferently as Steph froze with her mouth half open. Man, that magic is something. If they're altering your memory or reprinting the face-down cards or something, there's no way you can prove that. Hell, there's no way you can win. If humans can't detect it, then you ain't gonna discover it. What? Steph, apparently finally recovered from paralysis, shook her head and interrogated him. Wait a minute, then how are you supposed to win? Huh? You can't win. Sora responded casually and decisively as Steph stood speechless once again. Who's gonna face that? That's certain failure. You don't even have a 1 in a million chance to win. But before Steph recovered again and started shouting, he added further. Duh, that's why we avoided that. Huh? Sora shifted his posture to face Steph directly and spoke. Okay, I'm gonna make this as simple as possible, alright? But very well. First of all, this is a free-for-all tournament to decide the monarch. Whoever wins will be the representative of humanity. Yes. But the plan is flawed, because it leaves room for other countries to intervene. Yes, I suppose so. Steph averted her eyes. Chagrined? She'd not realized this on her own until it was pointed out. Indeed, with the system of an unconditional free-for-all tournament, human undetectable cheating could be used by another country to let someone win and form a puppet government. Humans were then doomed to fail in the running and to die as a race. The plan was full of holes, the epitome of foolishness. Chagrined? Okay. Chagrined. The only winning move is not to play? Well, Sora is more like, the only winning move is to manipulate everything so that it'll be in his favor, pretty much. So this isn't a battle of individuals, it's a battle of countries, of diplomacy, got it? Yes, I take your meaning. Now, these elves, right? They're trying to take advantage of this to install a puppet monarch. But surely you don't think that the elves are the only ones who would think of this? Well, surely other countries have thought of it, whether they carried it out or not. It's very likely. Which meant, we just have to take advantage of that and make them think we're one of them. Playing with his phone in his hand, Sora smiled mischievously. Now that we've shown her a device that she didn't figure the humans had, and made her think that we saw through the elf's magic with it, she'll be shouldered with the risk that if she uses obvious magic, we'll expose and disqualify her right away. Plus, we cast doubt on the actual user and drove him out. In that case, we can expect a match with no cheating. Steph's face lit up. But Sora dropped his shoulders with a look of disgust. He's always looking at her like she's a bug. For God's sake, how mushy is your brain? What? Why am I being censured? I don't know what that word means. Weren't you listening? I said the idea that another country might intervene is conceivable, which means that we can assume that they've already taken the possibility of people like us into account. Oh. Then Sora brought his thoughts back to their original line and considered. The enemy must have one already. You know, a cheat that will put them ahead even in this situation. And then Steph's words rang in Sora's mind. Steph, you said humanity can't use magic, but it can use games that use magic, right? Yes. Sora's face cleared as if the answer to his ruminations had appeared. You said the elf is best at magic, right? Then they must have anticipated a challenge from a country with the technology to detect magic and prepare a game with more complicated, hard to reveal cheat magic. That's probably what they went to get. Sora is the true champion of equality. I guess you could say it like that. I guess you could say it like that. But Steph's face clouded at these words. Doesn't that make things even worse? Huh? What do you mean? Huh? I mean, if they're using more complicated, hard to reveal cheating magic. Sora sighed for the umpteenth time today. Look here, for pure mere humans like us, the greatest threat is simple magic. If they were to mess with us directly by altering our memories or viewing our vision, because we wouldn't know. But if the game is assuming that they're playing a country to whom that doesn't apply, they can't do that. In other words, the game will look fair on the surface, but hide a mechanism that would give them an overwhelming advantage. And it would be unperceivable, which meant that they wouldn't mess with them directly. Certainly, they'd hide an overwhelmingly advantageous cheat, but it wouldn't be an unbeatable cheat like what they had used for the poker game with Steph. A bluff to make them bring out that game. That was what the phone was for. So far, everything was going well. But Steph, seeming to have finally gotten it, gave an on-the-mark opinion for the first time. Even so, doesn't that mean we'll still be at an overwhelming disadvantage? Sure it does. Is there a problem with that? But Sora spoke calmly. Well, responded calmly, drawing close to Shiro, who was sitting on the bench. As long as the game is possible to win in principle, lose isn't in Blank's dictionary. Shiro nodded in agreement, having just shut out a shogi app on the highest difficulty. Then, Shiro turned, responding to something. The shadow that approached, it took a while to realize it was Chilami. Oh crap, you don't think she heard us? He's the kind of guy to where I hate everyone equally, sure. Yeah, he is, really. Just like John Van Winkle said, he treats everyone except his sister like a bug. Shogi! I've never played Shogi. I'm not a huge board game person. I like Chinese checkers. And that's it. I have no idea how to play chess. I'm too stupid for that. I am too stupid for that. Sora muttered in a voice only Shiro could hear, and Shiro nodded, as if to say, it's okay. Then Chilami's first words backed it up. Let me ask you straight out. Whose spies are you? Sora sighed in relief inside, but instead of showing it, he grinned. Oh, you see. Actually, we're from that country. Ha! You think we'd answer? Are you stupid? I won't give you this country. I'm quite aware of that, ma'am. After all, you want to give it to the elves, right? No. Though Sora continued his grinning provocation, Chilami put it down with stern eyes. I won't give it to anyone. Our country belongs to us. To Sora's my, I didn't expect that prompt. Chilami declared firmly. I took elves' help in order to guarantee humans a place to live. I'm sure you can't imagine the complexity of the contracts I exchanged for this. As soon as we've secured the minimum territory we need, I will break with the elf. No one's too stupid for chess, you just lack critical information. I think I'm too stupid for chess. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just too stupid for chess. My brain does not do that kind of thing. My brain does drawing. My brain does drawing stuff and Neopets level coding. And that's it. You need someone to make you a NeoCities website? I got you. You need someone to draw you a picture? I got you. That's it. The best chess is the kind between two people who don't know what they're doing. Oh no. One time someone tried to teach me how to play poker, and I don't know how to play it at all. Wait, I didn't finish reading. Where are they at? Where is I at? Oh. Holy crap. The urge to clutch his head in frustration was too great even for Sora to resist. Letting out a sincerely pained chuckle, he said, "You're telling this plan to someone who might be a spy for another country? Are you stupid? Do you want to die?" But Chalami glared at Sora with eyes full of confidence that could be seen even through the veil. Regardless of what country you're spying for, there's no chance you could beat me. That's some confidence you got there. It's just a fact. The magic of the world's largest country, Elvengard, the magic of the elves, cannot be overcome by any race. That's why, if you face this one greatest country head-on, you lose. There's no exceptions. If you still consider yourself humanity, Chalami, softening her stern gaze, looking into Sora's eyes. If you still feel anything for this country, for humanity, I want you to give up your spying and forfeit this match. I swear I will not allow the elves to make me their puppet. Big words on the page. Poker is like the least complicated game in the world, though, just above tic-tac-toe. Shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna ban you. ... Asura quietly took in her words. She came to the brink of pleading. No, the words are big in the book like that too. It's supposed to be like that. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's supposed to be like that. Asura quietly took in her words. She came to the brink of pleading. We can't use magic or even detect it. That's us, humanity. From the expression hidden under the black veil, Chalami let through a shade of anguish. For us to survive in this world, we must obtain the right to live under the protection of a great country, and then abandon all contest and close ourselves off entirely. This is the only way. Surely you see. According to the 10 Covenants, the party challenge had the right to determine the game. Indeed, if they were to accept the help of the most powerful race and obtain a certain domain, refusing all contest and isolating themselves would be an efficient and effective strategy. In exchange for gaining nothing, they would lose nothing. It was like how, in shogi, the most powerful formation is one that doesn't move. But on the other hand, I see. Not a bad plan. I see what you're saying. Then you will forfeit this match for me. As Chalami closed her eyes gratefully. But I refuse. Sora responded with words that opened her eyes up. May I hear your reasoning? Heh, it's like this. Sora drawing in his sister, who until now had been watching the proceedings from the side with a face betraying no emotion. One of Blank's favorite things is saying no to someone who thinks she has an overwhelming advantage. Shiro joined with Sora's line in harmony at this statement, which was totally bizarre to Chalami and Steph, who didn't know the reference. The two could only stare speechless at the jubilant siblings. Hahaha, number 4 on my list of lines I wanted to try saying sometime. I got to say it in real life. Brother, mad props. Does anyone know what they're referencing here? Because honestly, I don't know. I haven't looked it up. Saying no to someone who thinks they have an overwhelming advantage. I'm not sure what they're referencing there. The siblings gave each other thumbs up. Chalami's shoulders shook. Perhaps she took it as provocation, or a sign that there was no room for negotiation. I wasted my time talking to you. As you wish, I shall twist you down by force. I'll be waiting in the hall. Sure. Make sure you bring that power you got by selling someone else your ass. Sora watched Chalami off, making a point of choosing words to irritate her. Is that okay? I thought she did have a point. Steph asked the question hesitantly, and Sora looked at her dumbfounded. Please, don't you think it's about time you learned to doubt people? Sora counted up fingers. 1. Just where's the evidence that anything she said was true? Oh. While Steph looked down as if she couldn't deny the shame, Sora, heedless, carried on counting. 2. If she has a certain route to victory, then why did she try to come talk us into forfeiting? Oh. Steph raised her face as if she couldn't miss this truth. There is a 1 in a million chance she'll lose, so she has no certain route to victory. So, it was just as Sora foresaw. Smiling at Steph's rare correct answer, Sora raised his third and fourth fingers. 3. If it is all true, we can't trust the human race to an idiot who will reveal all that to someone she suspects is a foreign spy. And 4. If we let her see our hand, we're finished. Got it? Steph opened her mouth dumbly and nodded repeatedly. You put all that thought into that line. You think it's Sun Tzu? I don't know what that is. Unfortunately. Never suspecting that it was a reference, Steph, sincerely reevaluating Sora, realized heat was rising to her face and shook it off as Sora cast his eyes to the direction Chalami went, the path that led to the castle hall. Well, that's not all it's about. Well, you are too, but... He turned his gaze to Shiro. Shiro nodded as they walked together, kind of underestimating us people. Now we're getting to the game. Let me see how many pages are left. We are on page 97. And I have to get to page 123. So, math. Math. 123. 26. 69. 50 pages. 26. Is page 123 my goal? Well, that's the last page for this chapter. So it is my goal, truly. But let's get into the game. Oh, let me drink some water first. 26 pages, I'm pretty sure. Okay. You're comfy. You're comfy. I'm comfy too. I got my big, fluffy pants on. My big fluffy pants. Oh, hi, Plant Zombie. We're finally getting to the chess game. Oh, I spoiled it. The chess game. The chess game. Let's go. Oh, did someone... Oh no. I think I missed the notification for when Reslock followed me. I'm sorry. Thank you for following, Reslock. I didn't see it because I was reading. I'm sorry. I'm kind of trying not to insult myself because y'all are like, you're not stupid. So I'm kind of Anyway, the group returned to the hall. What they saw was a huge crowd filling it, as if they had been waiting forever. And indeed, set up in front of the throne, a small table and a pair of chairs, and on the table, a chessboard? This time it was Sora's turn to be confused. An elf... a game hiding elf magic. He had considered many possible games, but he hadn't expected chess. Because, just how are you supposed to cheat at chess? Sora found himself unable to wipe away misgivings, this having gone over into the side of his expectations. Still, Chalami sat in the opposing chair, explaining in a voice without emotion. That's right, it's chess. However, it's not just chess. Okay. With that, she took out a small box and dumped the pieces on the board. And then the 32 pieces, 16 each for white and black, slid across the board on their own, taking their positions as if, yes. That's right, it's chess in which the pieces have will. Chalami answering as if she had read Sora's thoughts. The pieces move automatically, all you have to do is command, and they will move as you command. I see, that's how it is. Now this was an annoying game. Sora thought through all the cheats that seemed likely and clucked. What now, Shiro? If it were normal chess, Shiro would win unconditionally. But only if it were normal chess. Moreover, it was certain that the opponent had hidden some kind of magic to cheat. Don't worry, I won't lose at chess. You're not kind of. You're smart. Aww. You think I'm smart? That's not really well, the pieces are still following commands. Well, that's what she says. You gotta remember there's probably gonna be cheats. That's what she says. Next. Shiro boldly stepped forward. But first, Sora checked. Hey, we can switch in the middle, right? Both Chalami and Shiro looked doubtful. Sorry, but we're a 2-in-1 player. Plus, it seems that you're the only one who knows all about this game, right? Down to its nooks and crannies, you know what I mean? Sora talked while he futzed with the phone in his hand. Chalami peered into Sora's eyes as if to assess his intention. But Sora's eyes shed no light on anything. Anyone that dumb wouldn't be able to hold up half a blank. As you like. Whether she was concerned about the phone in Sora's hand or wary that she had not been able to read anything. Chalami spoke as if spitting, but... Brother, you think I'm going to lose? Unexpectedly, the one who raised an argument was the one who was supposed to hold up the other half, his sister. Shiro, don't get too heated. If this were normal chess, there's not a 1 in a million chance you'd lose. Shiro nodded as if this was obvious. And Sora meant it from his heart. There's no way she'd lose. But this isn't normal chess, even more so than she's told us. Don't forget, we're 2-in-1, together. We are the best, okay? I'm sorry. I'll be careful. Super! Now go give them hell. They're so cute. They're so cute. Read the chat. After years, I can finally take some money and throw it to random anime girls. Okay, speaking of throwing money to anime things, I finally gave in and joined a couple of artists' fan boxes on Pixiv, and I am thriving. I am thriving, okay? Pixiv fan box is too powerful. Fanbox is like Patreon, but it's on Pixiv, so you know it has the same freedoms as Pixiv. So it's very cool. I subscribe to the fanbox of like my favorite shoutout artists, basically. So I can get all that limited content. Exclusive content. Okay. With that, he stroked Shiro's head and said in a whisper at her ear, I'll figure out what her cheat is and how to counter it. Meanwhile, you kick her ass. Shiro nodded once and slowly sat down at the table. Since the seat was a bit too low for young Shiro, she sat on her heels at the top of it, in a traditional Seiza floor-sitting style. Are you done talking? In that case, let's begin. You may make the first move. ... Shiro's brow twitched at the obvious provocation. To Shiro, who dismissed chess is just like tic-tac-toe. This was equivalent to Chalami saying she would let her win. Because chess, in principle, is a game where the player who goes first will always win as long as she keeps making the best moves. The player who goes second can only draw if her opponent makes at least one mistake. Time to duel. It's time. Pawn b2 to b4. The words of Shiro, slightly soured, began the game. The chessboard on which the pieces moved not in the player's hand but on their own in response to spoken commands. The pawn moved 2 spaces forward as the rules permitted only on its first move. But Chilami had said that the pieces had will. It couldn't be just that they moved on their own. Heedless of Sora's such contemplation, Chilami murmured quietly. Pawn 7, forward. The next moment, the pawn that had been named moves 3 spaces forward. What? Sora exclaimed as the cloud. Jesus. Sora exclaimed as the crowd resounded with a murmur. The pieces have will, didn't I tell you? Chilami formed a thin grin and explained. The pieces move in response to the player's charisma, authority, and leadership, reflecting her qualifications as a monarch. Don't you think it's a game well suited to decide the actual monarch? Tisk. Sora clucked his tongue, but remained unperturbed. Pawn d2 to d3. Shiro played on calmly, straightforwardly. Oh, that's all? You're taking your time, aren't you? But once Shiro got into the game, provocation was useless. One mustn't forget that though she had help from her brother, her overwhelming concentration had even beaten a god. And in fact, without agitation at Chilami's continued seemingly illegal moves, and without any risk, Shiro continued to move her pieces. So the pieces can just cheat. Yeah, basically. If the pieces like you, they will do more for you. Kinda like in the newer Pokemon games, where if your Pokemon likes you, it's like, they dodge the attack because they love you so much, or they got a critical hit because you're awesome. It's like that. Yeah, Shiro is cool. I love them. Both of them. No way. This was mumbled by Steph, watching the match from beside Sora. But it must have been what everyone else in the castle was thinking in their hearts. When Chilami was moving her pieces in a manner nigh impossible to predict, just how was it possible to start to corner her? The hall filled with hubbub. Shiro responded to the pieces' outrageous movements with divine command, an inhuman calm that made one think, this is what it means to be clear as a lake. It's so unbelievable. She's overpowering an opponent who's practically ignoring the rules? Yeah. However, Sora had a new calm view of the situation himself. But that's nothing worth getting so worked up about. Huh? It's like in shogi. Well, I don't know if you have it in this world, but anyway, an elite player can play without rook, bishop, golds, silvers, knights, or lances. In other words, just with king and pawns, and still shut their opponent down. The difference between a master and an intermediate player isn't a gap that can be closed by breaking a few rules. Having said that, however, there was still a certain something Sora feared. If, just as Chilami had said, the key to this game was that the pieces had will, and then his fear forthwith became reality. Pawn 5, forward. Shiro's pawn thus commanded. Still did not move. For the first time since the beginning of the match, confusion arose on Shiro's face. Steph looked likewise confused, but in contrast, Sora was calm. Yup, there it is. Sora clucked as his prediction hit the mark. So, the key was that in this version of chess, the pieces could move disregarding the rules if you had charisma. But that wasn't it. It was that if you didn't have enough charisma, the pieces wouldn't move. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She's too cold for them. A strategy that wouldn't normally work if the pieces were real soldiers, namely, so you can't sacrifice. Well, actually, this is the opposite. She doesn't have enough charisma to make it sacrifice itself. No. No soldier normally would gladly die for everyone. It was a maneuver that only became possible with a thorough structure and a system of command, or by morale equivalent to insanity. And if the avenue of sacrifice was closed off... Shiro bit her nails and began to think long for the first time. Uh-oh, Stinky. Uh-oh, Stinky. Oopsie doopsie and upsie whoopsie. Yes, this would greatly limit future tactics. However, the soldiers of the thinly smiling Chilami kept moving in perfect order. Though Shiro had been on top, it did not take long for her to begin to be cornered. Uh-oh. Poor Shiro. The situation had worsened in a flash. Their morale lost, the pieces ignored her commands yet further, and Shiro began to grow irritable. With the commander's irritation relaying itself to the troops, a vicious circle formed. In such a situation, there could be no hope. It must have hit her. Her chance to win had vanished. But it was enough. Shiro had kept up the match as she allowed Sora to focus on observing. Dead eyes full of self-derision. No matter how you looked at it, she had no charisma. The movements of Chilami's pieces were more than enough to tell him the truth behind the cheating. Sora put his hand on his sister's head and spoke. Shiro, my turn. His sister's eyes could not be seen beyond the long white hair over her sunken face, yet it could be inferred that they contained traces of tears. It was only natural. Blank couldn't have a loss, especially not at chess, at which the sister had never lost once. Brother, I'm sorry. What's wrong? I lost. I'm sorry. With that, Shiro put her face in her brother's chest. But Sora hugged her head and spoke. Huh? What are you talking about? We haven't lost yet. The two of us together make blank. Until I lose, we haven't lost. Sora's words drew Shiro's eyes up. His face was full of his usual brazen confidence, that there was no way they could fail. And besides, this isn't chess. When have you ever beat me at this game? Just watch. This game is my territory. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sora rubbed the tears from the eyes of his sister. Invisible behind her bangs, her expression was hidden below her head, but it still appeared to be downcast. The sister made as if to withdraw from the seat she was guided, but then Sora stopped her. They make blank. Yes, their gamer tag is blank. They don't enter any characters. So that's what they call themselves. Because if you put the kanji for their name together, it makes the word blank. Yeah. And there's Shiro. Sad. And there's the head pat. There's his eye with the confidence fire. Yeah, Kuhaku. Kuhaku. Blank. I said that with confidence, so I'm being confident. I'm being confident in my kanji skills because I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's Kuhaku from what I remember. Nice trace start. I don't know if this was one of the traced ones. I don't know. Don't be mean. Don't be mean. But yeah, Sora is Ku and Shiro is Haku, so it should be Kuhaku. Okay, here we go. Such a crybaby. A little girl abandoning a game in the middle, and an easygoing brother who thinks he can catch up now. It looks like you two certainly do have the qualities of a monarch, albeit a very foolish one. Leave Shiro alone! The words of Chalami were disregarded, as Sora lifted up his sister, who was about to withdraw. Shiro flinched at being suddenly lifted. Sora lifted up his sister, who was too light even for a girl of 11. He then sat at the table and settled her on his lap. Didn't I say the two of us are blank? Stay here and help me out if I lose my cool. Sora opened his mouth, heedless of his sister's blank stare. With a smile, yet with infinite creepiness, Sora put words to Chalami. Yeah, I think I have to say it this time. Namely, hey bitch, could it be that you mean to address me? I'm gonna take you down along with those cheats you sold every orifice in your body to the good old elves for. So you better start thinking how you're gonna word your apology. Making my sister cry is gonna cost you dearly, you whore. He's mad. Oh, he's mad. Chalami's cheek twitched slightly, but paying no heed, Sora faced the board, drew in a long breath, and... Attention all troops! To say nothing of the sister in his lap, all the people in the castle hall plugged their ears as Tisa. They need to stop putting SH words after his name. Plugged their ears as Sora shouted so as to shake the walls. To those who prove their valor in this fight on my royal authority, I shall grant the right to bang once the woman of your fancy. Garbage. Garbage individual. Sora sells Sora sells seashells by the seashore. Sora sells Sora sells seashells by the seashore. It's hard. It's hard. The castle was overtaken by a silence like the bottom of the sea. The meaning of the silence: doubt, contempt, disbelief, but Sora carried on all the same. In Sora's defense, the knights are like they're like chess pieces, so he's offering fake things in his defense. Moreover, to those of you soldiers who fight on the front lines and emerge victorious, I shall exempt you from further military duty and from taxes for the rest of your lives. I guarantee you a stipend from the national treasury. Therefore, virgins die not. And those of you with families, with loved ones awaiting you, all of you men must come back alive. The unsurpassably vulgar speech cast a stiller silence over the castle. But from the chessboard, whoa! Such a battle cry resounded, as if in inverse proportion. The crowd cringed violently. But the speech was still not over. Men, soldiers, heed my words. This fight is for us, for Elkia, for humans. This fight will determine into whose hands falls this city, our last fortress. The fate of mankind hangs in the balance. Open your ears, open your eyes. Is it right? Pointing fiercely to his opponent, to Chalami, he shouted. To entrust the throne of this country to this corpse-like soft-headed harlot. Harlot? Jesus. What? Ignoring the speechless Chalami, he grabbed the morosely hanging head of his sister. He moved aside her bangs to show her face. The long white albino hair parted to reveal skin as white as snow and eyes as red as rubies, deep enough to suck you in, yet tinged with sadness. If we are victorious, she will be queen. Yes, she who just now, out of care for all of you, hardened her heart to lead you to victory, and shed tears from that same heart when you rejected her orders as merciless. I shall ask you but once. Do you yet call yourselves men? He's using her powers. He's using little sister powers. And without pausing, he sent orders to a pawn. Tell the 7th Pawn Company the enemy encroaches from the front. If we hold our ground, we shall be trapped and flanked. Rush on and take the rear. Seize the initiative. With this, as if carried along with his cry, the pawn moved forward 2 spaces and then went behind the enemy pawn and smashed it. What? How could that? As Chilami lost her composure, Sora smirked back broadly and spoke. What's this? What's this? It's just what you were doing. Is there something strange about it? On Sora's lap, however, his sister mumbled. But if this were a real war, with this, the troops would be worn out. Couldn't move for a while. Yes, it's just as you say. 7th Cavalry Squadron, waste not the path to life the 7th Pawn Company has carved. Protect the heroes who have carved this path with everything you have. The powers of Emoto. Yes, little sister power. And without waiting for his opponent to take her turn, he fired off yet another notice. And finally, the king and queen, which means us. But anyway, get out there on the front. This command, far flung from the conventions of chess, opened not only the crowd's eyes but even Shiro's, and that wasn't all. Hey, hold on! What do you think you're doing? Skipping my... This objection from Chilami was met by Sora with the eyes used to pity a stray dog. Huh? Are you stupid? In a real war, who the hell waits for his opponent's turn? To begin with, the pieces were moving, which meant his commands were accepted. If you're worried about your turn, all you have to do is send commands faster than me, Miss Dunderhead. The hearts make me think of Hisoka. I just had to say that. Sora shooting back at her as if to say, you got a problem? Tell it to the chessboard. He pouring out sophistry like it was as easy as breathing. But in fact, the pieces were moving. Which meant there was no foul, in which case... Pawn companies, advance in order! Build a wall! Uh-oh. Not a wall. Chilami hastily shooting off orders to fight back. Instantly, Sora spun... it... against her. You said who the hell throws their kings in the front line? I don't know, I don't play this game. I don't know how this game works. Ah, behold these heartless cowards who hide themselves behind a wall of men. Even mixing in flamboyant gestures, Sora's acting was that of a natural as he shouted on. What kind of king, what kind of queen forces their soldiers to fight on the front while they stand back in the rear? A king, a queen, a ruler should be one who shows their people the way. All of you, follow us, you proud knights, bishops, and rooks. Now is the time to show deeds worthy of your name, support the pawns, and bring them to promotion. Slandering his opponent's strategy, he exploited it to boost morale. His speech modeled after real-world propaganda rallied the pieces to move rapidly. And once more he spoke to Chilami, and consequently the pieces she led. Using the elves' magic to boost your own army's morale. In terms of a real war, you might call it brainwashing? Chilami's expression moved slightly, as if though her slip-up wouldn't reveal that he was dead on. She underestimated the man named Sora. Oh, she thought her slip-up. Whatever. I see. It's difficult to prove, yet overwhelmingly advantageous in the progress of this game. The more of a master your opponent is at chess, the less she'll be able to predict the movements of your pieces, and unable to sacrifice her pieces, she'll be thrown into disarray. Putting his hand on his sister's head. However, you made a big mistake. Then he rang out with another speech. In all of history, since time immemorial, there has not been one case of a wise monarch who controlled their army through oppression. The truth is, the people will only fight for what is right, and in this world there's only one thing that is absolutely right. His sister, whose eyes were usually listlessly half closed, now subjected to a series of events that made her eyes open wide. He showed that face with eyes fully open, of a beautiful girl who enchanted everyone who saw her. Soldiers, stand before your queen. If you call yourselves men, bring no more tears to these eyes. As if in response, once more from the board came a skin-shaking roar. That's right. Cute is the sole absolute law of this world. So true. So true. A generic image of a heart reminds you specifically of Hisoka. Listen. Listen. In Hunter x Hunter, every time Hisoka sends a text message, he leaves a little card symbol at the end. And a lot of the times he leaves a little heart or one of the other things, like a diamond or whatever. So that's why. Okay. That's why. Embracing his sister on his lap, Sora said it boldly. The board alone echoed back, creating a chilling imbalance with the hall. But that was disregarded. For the people of this world, ignorant of war, could not know. The reason men put their lives on the line to fight was the same in any world. It was for those they loved. It was for honor to attract those they loved. But to put it bluntly without decoration, it was for sexy time. And that alone. Pawn 5. Smash the enemy knight. The pawn commanded by Chalami moved to attack his knight. But Sora held his sister on one side, stood from his chair, waved his arm and shouted, "Honored knights, will you allow your knighthoods bestowed upon you by the grace of your queen to be overthrown by common infantry? In the name of your queen and on your knighthood, I permit you not to die. You face mere footmen. They know no skill but backstabbing. Turn, step back, and hold the line, and clear a path by your sword and your shield." Fellas, would you be willing to kill and die for sexy time? It's funny because one of my friends joined the military a few months ago so she could make enough money to go live with her girlfriend. That's literally the only reason. So they're not wrong, as far as I can see. The pawn commanded by Chalami moved to attack his knight. Oh no, I already read that. With that, the pawn that should have been attacking not only failed to capture the knight, but was pulverized just before it could. What? Not just Chalami, but also Steph. And in fact, the whole castle cried out in surprise. My friend is amazing. I miss her though. I need her to come back. When will she return from the war? When will she return? Not just Chalami, but also Steph. And in fact, the whole castle cried out in surprise. Even so, it went unheard. Sora shouted on as if he really were standing on the battleground. Well, you have stood your ground, proud knight. This is what it means to be a sword of the people. But now you may rest your sword for a time and enjoy your leave. I plunge on my name that those who achieve on this battlefield will be rewarded as they deserve. My voice cracked a little bit. Whoa. Whoa. Going through puberty. Oh yeah. This is... I'm not sure if I should say, but I feel like if I was forced to join the military, I would just act like a complete psycho, and then they would have to make me leave because I'm mentally insane. I'm pretty sure that's what I would do. I'm sorry. But I feel like if I stayed, that would happen anyway. So it's for the best to just get it out the way. Is that bad? I'm sorry. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That's a psychopath using it out of jail time. If I ever go to jail, that's a good idea. I don't know what I would go to jail for though. I don't like getting in trouble, so I don't think I would do a crime. If I get wrongly accused of a crime, that's what I'll do. It's a good idea, in my opinion. Where was I at? I lost my place. I'll go to jail for... Oh no! I would... Okay. If I go to jail for that, I would. I'd be like, well, I'm a crazy psycho person, so I need therapy. And then I'll get therapy, which I need anyway, so it'll be fine. It'll all work out. It'll all work out. Where was I at? What's my place? Oh, okay. And so the mere piece turned to face Sora. No, his king, tipped as to bow, and vanished from the board, moving to the corner of the table. At this phenomenon, unheard of in chess, two pieces taking each other out, Chalami had no words, while Sora answered mockingly, Hehehe, you fool. This version of chess is a simulation of real war, yes? I've never lost at Civ or Daisenryaku. Did you think that you could defeat me at this game, which is just an outdated version of the same? Fortunately, I am officially a crazy psycho. That's good, we need some psychos in the chat. Psychos in the chat, make some noise. Those are my people. Those are my people. Correct, it wasn't chess, it was a strategy game. Magic to maintain morale. Well, quite a useful spell. But something like that was only on the level of a status modifier like a social policy or a world wonder. And he already knew the weakness of such modifiers. Namely, that her playstyle would come to depend on them. And if he could see her playstyle, he couldn't lose. Third Pawn Company, now is your chance. Take the enemy bishop. Sora shouting orders with conviction, just going for the mate, his pieces moving loyally. But before the bishop, the pawn turned black. What? The crowd raised their voices in astonishment. It was already a familiar sight, but now for the first time, Sora was part of it. Sora's continuing Sora's countenance revealed to Chalami that this turn of events was clearly unexpected. She smirked, thinly and darkly, and spoke. Brainwashing. What an interesting expression you use. Brainwashing is certainly an option, in regards such as this. Another piece tried to attack was forcibly turned black. Forced brainwashing. That meant that all attacks from his side would be sealed off. Crap. Sora managed not to show it on his expression, but he realized he'd made a fatal error. Her cheat being maintaining insane morale was what he'd assumed. It was just a mistake he had haughtily criticized Steph for a few days back, and now he'd done it himself. He failed. He failed. It was an obvious epic fail. Epic fail, bro. Once his enemy was cornered, bereft of room to care about appearances. Once she was losing for the loss, she might be prepared to expose the use of her magic. Once she was already losing, she might try the cheats that originally shouldered her with a risk of getting caught. Why didn't I think of it? I'm such a dolt. All troops, retreat. The enemy is using brainwashing magic. Stay away! Under Sora's overpowering direction, even the pieces that weren't supposed to be able to retreat started retreating with all the others. But if you gotta be a psycho for Kipa, you don't have to be. We just need a couple of you. A couple psychos. Just a little bit. Hold on, y'all. Okay, next page. Twink. Hehe. You think you're the battlefield king? This king is quite a poser, trying to bring up the rear himself. Under the command of Chalami, crowing at the sight of victory, the enemy descended upon the king, i.e. Sora, specifically the enemy queen. Take that king's head, queen, is checkmate. Brother! A few twisted psychopaths. Yeah, I need a few twisted fucking psychopaths. Okay. Brother! As the hall filled with noise, even Shiro felt a threat and raised her voice. But Sora pronounced to the oncoming piece, "Oh Queen, I entreat you to lay down your sword, for you are beautiful." What? The crowd, Chilami, even Shiro gaped, as Sora spoke heated, passionate. Nothing's to the peace, the Queen. "Oh Queen, do you serve that king of your own accord, or are you trapped by circumstances? In any case, I would that you might ask your heart." Oh geez, that is a sentence. I would that you might ask your heart, is yon king truly a king worthy of your service? Like a first-rate stage actor, with the sweet voice of the playboy of the century, Sora put together an elegant line of words, truly as if he were a young handsome monarch on the battlefield. That king who brainwashes his soldiers, his people, to use them as his swords, his tools, to say nothing of putting you in front to bear the arrows as he cowers in the back. Does he merit your beauty or your sword? O Queen, whose beauty I have but glimpsed on this field where strange fate has put us against each other. He's so annoying. I beseech you to lay down your sword and see your people, those you should protect. Your king, where are they? Clank, with the sound of a sword falling to the ground. This time, the Black Queen turned white. Out of context. Let's keep it in context. The crowd, still left agape, could no longer even make a sound. All that was left was Chilami, who was speechless, and Sora, who just chuckled. What? Hehehe. Romance simulation games are one of the few genres I'm better than my sister at. You little... As Chilami gnashed her teeth, the crowd sighed as if relieved, seeing that Sora had done the same thing as the enemy, evening the match once more. That was probably why. But that was wrong. So very wrong. This Sora was only able to do because he was the king and the enemy was the queen. But Chilami, it was hard to say exactly. But it looked as if she could use any piece to brainwash another. While this side was still sealed off from attacking, the enemy carried on attacking freely. What lay ahead was nothing less than certain defeat. What to do, Sora? Virgin 18. I like thinking that randomly throughout the day in his head, he's just like Virgin 18. Very funny. Sora put everything he had into holding up the unconcerned smirk floating on his face. With all his soul and fire, he looked for a way to somehow break the impasse. I'm gonna start doing that too. Just randomly throughout the day in my head, just be like, Virgin, undisclosed age because train goes by. Randomly throughout the day. just to humble myself. If I get too uppity. Oh, it's so funny. No, more accurately, he'd found a way. There is a way, strictly speaking. There is. But will she fall for it? It would be a gamble. If it were successful, he'd get by for now. But if he blew it, his last chance at victory would be gone. Compared to the risk of placing the bet, the reward would be all too transient. Should he still lay it on the table? As Sora spun around his thoughts, in time compressed by excess secretion of neurotransmitters. Now this time, Shiro softly enclosed her brother's face in her two small hands. What? The sudden sensation of warmth on his cheeks made his body want to leap. But Shiro peered into Sora's eyes and continued quietly. You said if you lost your cool, I should help you. Together, we are blank. Yeah. Yeah, we are. It's okay. You think she'll fall for it? To the silent question of her brother's eyes, the sister slightly yet strongly nodded, once. Urgent redacted. Yeah. 10 years since last time redacted. Oh, I'm banning you. Sex havers are banned from the chat. If you're a sex haver, you shouldn't have rights. You're banned from the chat. That's right, Shiro, this genius girl, the sister he was so proud of, had at a point outplayed an opponent unbound by rules that yet constricted her. Only by reading her opponent Chalami's moves could she do such a thing. She may have been greatly the inferior of her brother in mind games and diplomacy, but Sora reminded himself, don't forget, his sister had defeated a god. That sister, by pure reading of moves, had stated unequivocally that she'd fall for it. That all he had to do was trust his sister and form a strategy on that premise. Y'all are funny. I'm glad that everyone takes my jokes well. I'm glad that everyone takes my jokes well. Where am I at? Okay. And so Chalami, shoulders shaking. Knight, slay the traitor queen! Where am I at? She fell for it. She stepped right in to the trap. The Black Knight commanded, trembled as if conflicted, and then turned white. But how? What did you do? This was it. This was the one way out. If Chalami really did mean to fight for the human race, it was the one thing she couldn't take. It was her reaction to betrayal, and the fact that she still assumed that our heroes were cheating. Here it was, the only scenario that could lead to victory. Oh, that's my sister, he told her by stroking her head, and she closed her eyes in pleasure like a cat. And so, as if all things were preordained, Sora let out an impudent grin and spoke. King, foolish king, to order your subjects to kill their queen, cruel commands are not well given. Perhaps you should cool your head, those shoulders shaking in anger. They are not fit to show your people. You damned traitor! Chalami believed Sora to be cheating using the technology of another country, to be selling out his own people. Her face no longer bore that corpse-like sense of helplessness, or of responsibility, but only rage. In contrast, Sora's face was bold, brazen, and full of ease. Who could have guessed it? That at that very moment, Sora himself felt his heart pounding hard enough to rupture, his mind in total mobilization. In his brain, he dug up all the knowledge he had yet acquired through quiz games, through history games. All the wars he could possibly be expected to know of, and he simulated them. Indeed, the situation had not improved a bit. This wasn't a trick he could pull off indefinitely. It was only a bluff to buy time as the enemy fell into paranoia. If he were to charge defiantly onto the offensive, everything would be balanced on a tightrope demanding too precise calculation. In that case, he could only find a way to win without fighting. Win without fighting? And thus, in the midst of a situation tantamount to certain defeat, in the back of Sora's mind, a ray of light was finally found. Becoming a wizard is the next evolution in human evolution. So true. So true. Just like an interspecies reviewer is when the lizard man turns into one. So true. Jiro, take command of the troops. Can you run them around so they won't be brainwashed by the enemy? That's easy. His sister gave a bleh, 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 bleh. His sister gave a firm salute, not needing to hear the reason, and took command. This again was a wild gamble. However, this time, if successful, it meant certain victory. To draw victory from the situation, there were only two ways. Ways in which Sora knew one could win without fighting, and they were: Oh Queen. Leaving his sister to lash out the orders, Sora spoke to the former enemy queen, now on his side. I dreamed not to ask you, nor those proud knights who lay down their swords out of love for you, to turn your blades on your brethren. This battle, this situation, already, anyone's eyes can see it for a vain butchery, while your king already boils in the depths of madness. Okay. Then Sora, in about the time a clock's second hand takes to move once, turned through tens of thousands of words in his brain and embarked on the seduction of a lifetime. Your people belong to you already. I believe there is none but you to lead your people into the place of the frenzied Mad King. In the place of the frenzied Mad King. Is this not the truth? I keep messing up. As for Sora's speech and its intent, no one in the castle, not even Chilami, could comprehend it. And so the castle hushed, as had happened many times so far. Something beyond imagination was about to happen. That they all waited for in silence. And finally, was it a result that answered their expectations? The queen, which had been black, which now was white, this time turned red. And in continuity, almost every black piece on the front line turned red. Huh? The cry came from Chilami alone. The rest of the crowd must not have been able to grasp what had happened. However, Sora's speech continued and finally made it clear. In the time it takes a second hand to move once, so 1 second. Yes, 1 second. You know how writers are. They gotta make stuff extra sometimes. They gotta make it extra. I celebrate your independence, O brave, admirable queen. You champions of justice who have overcome brainwashing to follow your queen, I ask you not to slay your brethren. But they themselves surely wish not to slay you. It is you who must put an end to the oppression of this mad king who brainwashes his people and robs them of their freedom. Indeed it was, the spark of insurrection, the emergence of a third force. What I seek is not blood, it is what everyone seeks. Yeah, I seek peace. I would that our sides sheathe their swords. I shall not permit this bloodshed to go on. At this speech, the side of the Red Queen was joined more and more by red pieces. Gotta get that word count. Me writing an essay. I'm so glad I don't have to write essays anymore. Oh, I'm so glad. I am so glad. Stupid persuasive essays. They might not hesitate to harm their enemies, but you, no matter, execute all renegades! Chilami, raging without grasping the meaning, once more walked into a trap. Another mistake, fool king. It is a universal truth since time immemorial that armed suppression of insurrection is the worst move. Even if they would harm their enemies, the comrades with whom they had fought, regardless of brainwashing magic, would not be so easy to slay. Indeed, just as Sora had spoken, the pieces ordered by Chilami turned red one after another. What is this? What is your trick? Chilami had gone so far as to call on the power of the elves to protect the human race. Her emotions regarding her own betrayal strengthened and stole away her composure. Meanwhile, all troops, aid the Red Queen forces, form a circle, let no one die. Only have one slurp of water left, but we're almost done, so I will be okay. Only have one slurp left. Shiro took Sora's cue and issued appropriate directions to incorporate the red pieces into their battle strategy. But not really. Really, she was just making it hard for Chilami's army to attack by using the Red Queen forces as a shield. But she papered over that with words, and manipulated the Red Queen's pieces to create a situation in which no one could get an attack through. The result. You treacherous swine! Chilami ground her teeth and spewed bile. Yes, this result Was that it? Was that? Was that the battle was deadlocked? Hey, Mad King, I mean Brainwash King, have you heard? Bloop. Thor explained with a smile as if this was what he had been aiming for all along. In real wars, you don't necessarily have to capture the king to win, you know. Come on, you already had no chance to win. Neither of us can do anything in this state. It's time for you to resign. Bloop. Sparking an insurrection to split the nation's forces and forcing a truce from the overwhelmingly superior position this afforded. This was one of the ways Shiro knew to win without fighting. It probably appeared to the crowd that all of this was planned from the beginning. At the brilliant turnabout, the castle heated up and a feverish roar resounded. Excluding one person. Yes, Chalami alone glared daggers at Sora. She snickered. Heh. Don't underestimate me. I'll never hand over this country. It was a cackle like that of a true Mad King. As the furor of the castle hushed, Chalami gave her orders. All troops, lay down your lives and take the enemy king's head. All you have to do is follow my orders. Just cut down all traitors in your path. It couldn't be detected by Sora, by humanity. But the brainwashing magic must have grown even stronger. Unsettlingly, quietly, the Black Army began to advance, as did the red pieces and the white pieces. The line of pieces emanating the clear feeling that they were going to wipe out everything without regard, the castle swallowed. Brother, this is what happens when you back a weakened enemy into a corner. As even his sister pointed it out with a trace of cold sweat. Even so, Sora smiled back. I know, that's why I did it. Crick. The sound came out of nowhere. The Black King, Chalami's king, developed a crack. What? As the crack spread through the Black King and Chalami watched in shock, not knowing what was going on, Sora told her plainly. Dictators of continual oppression, subjugation by fear and brainwashing. It's a funny thing. This was the second way Shiro knew how to win without fighting. It works when you're winning, but once you start losing, universally, for some reason, such leaders' fates are always sealed the same way. Namely, it has held true for time immemorial. Their fate is sealed by assassination by someone close to them who's not even a combat unit. A historical fact of the world they came from, repeated endlessly. The brainwashing expanded in scope. Appearances were abandoned, becoming vilified as a despot, being run to the edge of defeat, commanding as a mad king, and thus self-destructive. And so, watching the cracked-apart Black King crumble, everyone in the castle, even Chalami, stood stunned. Sorry, our world isn't as nice a place as this one. Victorious, rising from the seat, Sora and Shiro. When it comes to conflict and slaughter, compared to you, we're seasoned experts. And then he heaved a single great sigh. Sora exchanged a quick high five with Shiro, and his eyes grew distant. Their old world. Squinting as if to look at it far, far off. But here, it ends with a game. This is a fine world. So he murmured. And they won! And they won! Let's finish up this chapter, everybody. Sora could probably do good persuasive essay. Maybe if you put it in a game. Something like that. Wow. The scene of victory was overwhelming, dazzling. Amidst the cheers that shook the entire castle, it was Steph who whispered. The cheering spectators probably didn't understand the underlying truth. Steph alone did. Not to say she understood all of the siblings' tactics and statements, since she had no way of knowing what their world was like. But she knew that the girl Chalami had received powerful elven backup, that the game that had just unfolded hid their cheating magic, and in the end, that they had faced that magic head on and broken through. This meant, albeit indirectly, that they had faced the world's strongest country, Elvengard, and defeated them. that mere humans had triumphed over a magic-using race. And an accomplishment with not a single precedent in history that Steph knew of. And therefore, are they really human? In awe, even fear, she couldn't help but whisper this. In contrast to the uproar of the audience, a vanquished Chalami looked down in silence. As the siblings slid away from the table without a second glance at her, and as they walked up to Steph for a moment didn't know what to do. Because they had brought down face on an enemy that cheated with magic and they weren't even showing triumph. Blank doesn't lose. When the two stood there as if to prove this, without surprise at their victory, what was she supposed to say? But with no inkling of the conflict within Steph, Sora. See? I said Steph and then I said Stora. With no inkling of the conflict within Steph, Sora spoke playfully. Does this do it for you? Huh? Now no one's gonna call your grandfather, the old king, a fool, right? Oh. If without anyone's backing, we, the strongest of the humans, became the monarch, that means he was wise. Now, Elkia won't die. Aren't you glad, Steph? Searching for words at a loss, she did think back to all the things they'd done to her. But the result more than made up for it all. Dew droplets welled up in her eyes as she decided to admit it out loud. Thank you! I'm so grateful to you! Oh. Choking up a bit, Steph wondered if she was clearly understandable, but Cheryl stretched up and patted her on the head. It was not possible any longer for Stephanie Dola to hold back the tears. And there she is. Very cute. Game theory. Matt Pat called Kirito girlfriend a lolly on one of his YouTube videos. I didn't know who he was talking about, but I saw that clip because like people were mad about it and I was like, oh cool. Oh cool. But somebody said that someone else writes his scripts or helps him with his script, so that means there's two people scheming on this. No, he said it for real. It was a clip from one of his videos, unless somebody like copied his voice, because it was in his voice and cadence. But that's just a theory. A game theory. A lolly theory. Okay. We're almost here. We're almost at the end. So close. So close, everybody. And with that, hey, Chalami's mumble fell out and was erased by the cheers roaring through the castle. But in the ears of Sora, Shiro, and Steph alone, it rang cold. Just tell me, what manner of trick did you use? With these cold, low words, Chalami pierced Sora with a scowl, and continued. Yes, it's true, I accepted the help of the elves. As the only way for humans to survive. And now you've ruined it. Answer me. Whose spies are you? Certainly you don't mean to tell me that a mere human was able to defeat elven magic. From her perspective, he was a lonesome enemy who had sold out humanity. As Chalami interrogated Sora with eyes full of hate, Steph swallowed, but the siblings. I do, actually. Oh, I do, and actually, I did. You got a problem? The cheers roaring through the castle subsided as Sora walked back towards Chalami. You know, I did mean it when I said that your plan wasn't bad, and if you could prove your story was true about getting elven help for the sake of humanity, I could have even stepped down. Then why? But I don't like the way you think. Sora looked down at Chalami with a scornful gaze that was no act. If it's, we're gonna use the elves to claw our way up, that's one thing, but when you're saying we can't even survive without the protection of the great elves, that just seemed a little too pathetic, and it kind of pissed me off. Hasn't that been proven? The limits of humanity by history, by the present we're in. while Chilami looked up at him as if to imply, "How can you talk when I know you cheated too?" Those are the limits of those dudes who made history. They sure ain't our limits. With these nasty words, he smiled. Humans have their own way of doing things. Like, yeah, the way we won because you always believed that we were cheating to the end. Boink. Boink. Now swallowing, looking back at the match, Chilami. She had been totally wrapped up in uncovering the ruse they were using. But what if there had never been any ruse in the first place? That can't be! A mere human couldn't possibly compete with magic. If that's what you think, that's fine. That's your limit. And Sora squinted. Whether the opponent be elven or a god, the word lose isn't in Blank's dictionary. With that, as if to signify that her pride had been sullied, Sora took hold of Chilami's chin and peeled off the black veil. Then looking straight into her eyes, Sora for the first time showed faint anger lurking in his own and spoke. Don't underestimate humans like that. Those words hushed everyone in the castle. They echoed and spread as if soaking into their hearts. As if to rend the chains that bound them as inadequate humans. As if piercing an epoch of darkness with a single ray of light. As if lighting the lamp of a quiet hope in their hearts. Then, a word fell from Chilami's mouth as well. What? 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 Whoa! What the hell? Suddenly, Chilami dropped to the floor and started wailing. Sora, not knowing what to do, took a step back in surprise, and who could blame him? Ah, you're so stupid! I hate you! Don't you know how hard it was to make contracts so I could get the elves and then trash them? I wasn't underestimating anything! I was serious! Ah. As Chilami spilled out big tears, opened her mouth wide and bawled. Everyone was astonished. Whether it was the reaction from the load on her being removed, or whether that was her real personality. In any case, it seemed it was universally agreed in every world that there's nothing you can do about crying children. Brother made a girl cry. What? Stupid jerk, just die. The crowd, who had until just recently had been roaring in victory, now just looked vaguely on at Chilami as she hurled insults between childish sobs. And there she is. And that's the end of the chapter. And that's chapter 2 and 3, everybody. Her face. I kinda understand. She's been through a lot. Sora is very good at making people cry, it seems like. I'm sure he made Steph cry a few times. She just wanted the best. She didn't know that they're super smart and they're the main characters, you know? She didn't know. But yeah, next time I will read 4 and the epilogue. And the afterword. And that's like... just a few pages. I think it's like 30 pages. Let me do math real quick. Let me do quick maths. But yeah, that's it for the stream, everybody. I have to go pee. I drank a whole water bottle. Quick maths. No, not quick maths. I'm getting a calculator. Quick maths. 125. It's 34 pages for all those 3 things. What's your question? I'm waiting. I am waiting. Is there a way you can throw me money without it being PayPal? Probably. I don't think I have one set up at the moment though. But I'm pretty sure. Does Steam Elements let you? I know Steam Elements is in my conf link. Or yeah, you can use bits if you want. But I'll have to see. Maybe Ko-fi? But the thing with bits is you have to like buy like a set amount, don't you? Thank you all for coming, and no, I am not going to be here. I misread your message. I thought you were saying if you gotta go pee, just do it here. But you said don't be shy just because we're here. I misread. It's okay, it's okay. I'll be here next week. You don't have to rush. I'll be here, you'll be here, everyone will be here. Everything will be great. Don't be shy, just do it on stream. I don't want to make a mess. I don't want to make a mess. Here. I don't know how to do a stream sound. A pee stream sound. You get a bowl first? Who pees in a bowl? I have water bottles right here. Pee in a bowl. Nobody does that. I'll pee in a bottle. Open a video of tap water running. Okay. Pee sound. Pee sound. I like the title of this video. It says normal peeing and then an all caps sound effect. What is an unusual pee? Okay. Peeing. Can you hear it? Okay. There you go. You have to go. If someone comes into the stream and hears the feed. Well, I don't know what they want from me. Pee sounds. Pee sounds. The picture is a guy sitting on the toilet. And he's got like really fancy shoes. But guys, I don't think guys sit when they pee. Right? But he's sitting here and he's got like a book. No, he's got a phone. He's like really focused. I know you can, but do you is the question. Do you? One time I tried, well, I've tried it more than once, but one time, the last time I tried peeing standing up, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. Listen, I was standing in front of the toilet and I was like, I'm going to pee standing up. I'm going to focus my chakra and aim into the toilet. I'm going to focus. And, okay. I go to pee. And this is what happens. I focus too hard. And the stream goes up in the air and hits the top of the seat. Like the seat that you lift up. It hits the top of the seat and splashes on me. And I was like, how did this happen? How did this get up here? What did I just do? It splashed everywhere. And I had to clean it. I'm serious. This is a true story. This genuinely happened to me, okay? I have no idea how it went that high up. I was so sure it was gonna go right in the bowl. I peed too hard. It went too high up. I focused too hard. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, it's a 1 because you're one of the first. You get a 1. You get a 1. What part made it go upward? My chakra made it go up. I focused too hard. That's what part made it go up. Cause I was even like, I was standing over the bowl because I was like, it'll just go down and it'll be fine. But it didn't work out that way. So that's my story for today. It's okay, we'll figure it out. Everything will be fine, Lenka, don't worry. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. If I backed up a little, it would have went into the bowl. Honestly, at that angle, I would have had to back up a lot further. Than just a little bit. I would have had to back up a lot further. But yeah, I don't have anything else for y'all today. So thanks for coming and hanging out and all that cool stuff. I gotta figure out what I want to do next week. I have no idea what I want to do next week. Usually I think about it ahead of time. But I'll figure it out. Oh yeah, more PMD. For sure. More PMD for sure. And then other things. But yeah. You gotta stop missing my streams. Well, you're here today. And that's why I try to record them all so I can post them later. I know people like to be live, but also I'm the kind of person, personally, I rarely watch a stream live. I usually watch it after it happened. So that's why I try to record them all. Because I love watching streams, but after. You should do a stream where you just say it'll all be okay. I can do that right now. It'll be okay. It'll all be okay, everybody. It will be okay. Yeah, a lot of people like the interaction, but I'm antisocial and I just like to listen. I'll talk if somebody if they ask a question that I have an answer to. Or if they specifically see me and they say something. Like if someone's like, oh, Kipa's here, then I'll be like, oh, I gotta talk. I have to say hi. I was perceived. The Kipa only stream. It'll be okay, everybody. Do I have my emote? Can I use it too? What the heck? I don't have it. I only have the Pog one. I don't have the other one. but I made it. Flat. Flat kips, flat kips. I gotta be a sub if I want it. I'm not subbing to myself. I never watch my streams. I don't watch them ever. So why would I sub? Ow! Just a oh, Kipa. Oh! Whenever you see that crying one, just imagine me going like, oh! Ow! It's like a pained, pained howl. I use that one when I'm sad, but also when I see something really good. Like if you show me a Shota, I'll be like, oh! Yeah, that one's like, weh, weh, weh. The flat one. Oh. I'm not gonna quote that tweet because I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm sure we're all on the same page. Oh, erotic. Enough. Enough. Okay, I'm going to sleep, y'all. Good night. Erotic. Good night, everybody. Wow, 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 wow. Here, I'll do one more and then I'll stop. One more. Ow!